As I leave the scene, cloud of smoke, mug on me, that's all she wrote. Kick up dust, no click I trust. When I'm pissed, that's when I cuss. Won't be no peace up in these streets, cause niggas talk till they deceased. Get zipped up, thrown away, keep my shut, you live today. It's so simple, beat my mental, do me wrong, it switch like tempo. Instrumentals mixed with pencils, this equals instant credentials. Don't play games with these suckers, do away with all these busters. Walk alone, just me and God, I walk alone just like a dog. This is my yard, don't step across this here line, you gon' get lost. Some things just can't be bought, take what's mine, you pay the cost. I take things straight to heart, the best way to stop is not to start. Play your part and do not cross the rebel, cause you will get caught. Had a chance to prove yourself, but all you did was lose yourself. Misuse and abuse yourself, and your niggas was no kind of help. I'd advise for you to rise, look inside, not with your eyes. Use your heart, just be smart, real niggas stay on point like darts. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. Where I'm found, 954, meet you at your front post. Too late to run though, I'm already at your front door. I told these niggas stop they whining, they get dropped with perfect timing. Execution, best solution, but ain't no need to start no shoot. Walking around with a gun in your hand, that don't make you a man. Choke your neck till no breath left, I don't really give a damn. I'm a loner and a rebel, so people think I'm nothing but trouble. Try to see me, try to be me, dig my grave, head go to show. Never take me down or break me down, all you do is make me frown. An evil grin, my evil twin. If we ever meet again, don't cross my path or that's your ass. Body bag or body cast, on a mission, leave them missing, twist them in some strange position. I will die for my respect, that's no lie, you wanna bet? Face the test, take the stress, some niggas just a waste of flesh. They gon' die, burn in hell, you know why, can't you tell? They gon' sleep right next to the devil, they ain't even on my level. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. You see me, I see you, now what the hell can you do? I'm a man, you a boy, I was sent here to destroy. Don't need no friends in the end, do you wrong, it's like a trend. I stand alone by myself, I don't need nobody else. Calm like a whisper, call me mister. Picture me about to hit your sister, brother, get your mother. Did I mention I don't love you? Told you niggas zip your lip, cause you know I'm quick to click. I don't need a dumb click, just give me a mic and a drum kick. Pick and choose, stick and move, y'all niggas just fit to lose. No need to prove myself to you, I already know what I can do. Don't judge a book by its cover, but y'all don't look like my brother. Niggas try to unify when you know that you can die. No friends to me, just enemies. A lot of niggas envy me. Real they pretend to be, but they wanna put an end to me. But that won't happen, I'm still rapping, but I can switch to kidnapping. Catch them slipping by surprise, rebelling and yelling, look in my eyes. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. A loner, a rebel, my mind is on another level. A loner, a rebel, I double the treble and trouble the devil. As I leave the scene, cloud of smoke, mug on me, that's all she wrote. Kick up dust, no click I trust. When I'm pissed, that's when I cuss. Won't be no peace up in these streets, cause niggas talk till they deceased. Get zipped up, thrown away, keep my shut, you live today. It's so simple, beat my mental, do me wrong, it switch like tempo. Instrumentals mixed with pencils, this equals instant credentials. Don't play games with these suckers, do away with all these busters. Walk alone, just me and God, I walk alone just like a dog. This is my yard. Y'all don't step across this here line, you gon' get lost. Some things just can't be bought. Take what's mine, you pay the cost. I take things straight to heart. The best way to stop is not to start. Play your part and do not cross the railroad, cause you will get caught. Had a chance to prove yourself, but all you did was lose yourself. Misuse and abuse yourself, and your niggas was no kind of help. I'd advise for you to rise. Look inside, not with your eyes. Use your heart, just be smart. Real niggas stay on point like guards. Aloners, rebels. Aloners, rebels.
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about a believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe.
Well, nobody else can make a decision but me because I was the president. The final decision comes to the president.
You know, it's easy enough for a Monday morning quarterback to say what the coach should have done after the game's over. But when the decision is up before you, and on my desk I have a motto which says the buck stops here, the decision has to be made.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
President?
Yep.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think you've been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and casting specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you retired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And I'm the one who will not raise taxes. My opponent now says he'll raise them as a last resort or a third resort. But when a politician talks like that, you know that's one resort he'll be checking into. And my opponent won't rule out raising taxes, but I will, and the Congress will push me to raise taxes, and I'll say no. And they'll push, and I'll say no, and they'll push again, and I'll say to them, read my lips. No new taxes.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
You crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Shut your mouth, because you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I did.
Hold it, tough guy. I'm not afraid of physical. Hold it.
Don't sit there and tell me I'm not.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. Stand back and stand by. Will you shut up, man?
Last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life tour. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
Sarcastically.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's
Mr.
enough.
President, I was going to ask one other.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent a kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation. For some reason, it just keeps getting worse.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, no, sit down. Oh, you're a clown. Sit down. Look at you.
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts, alternative facts, alternative facts, alternative facts.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
I ain't talking politics. I'm talking life.
I ain't talking politics. I'm talking life.
All right, here we go again. It's another TFP Tuesday. This is November 12th, 2024. I'm Venkat. And once again, we are back for another Tape Fist Politics Tuesday. This week's episode number 58, we are dealing with the aftermath of the election that happened last week. And the theme of the show is elections have consequences. The glass ceiling remains unbroken. Before we get into all of that, I want to introduce the world's most dangerous political panel, of course. And on the panel, we got Mers. We got Mike on the panel today. Mike, what's going on?
Once again, I don't know who this Mers is. There's no S in my name. I am Mur. Mike is right. Because as I predicted, Trump was going to win. Sadly, I knew you black people, you Spanish people, you goofy white people were not going to come out and vote like you should. Because unless somebody has a saxophone or a pin that says hope, you don't jump up and stand up to the task. This is your fault. I voted, so I can blame you. Welcome to the show.
And of course, we do have to recognize Mike did say it, and he also was standing up about it. He didn't just say it and not do nothing about it. You know, he like he said, he did his part. So you got to give much respect to that. I mean, it's real. It's true. It's true. You can't be denied.
Much better than Trevor. Thank you, sir.
All right, and of course, on the panel is Mr. MD20. The political prophet amongst mere mortal men. MD, what's going on?
Peace and black power. How y'all doing, man?
I was about to tell you his name has been changed to Black MD, the blackety blackest prophet of blackety blackness.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's got a dashiki on right now.
It's a new era for MD.
Yeah, it's a new era, man. If it ain't talking about black, it's whack. It is what it is. Black power.
I heard his new ringtone is blackety black from CB4.
All right. And also on the panel is Mr. Popcorn, King of Pop. We got Ricardo on the panel. What's going on, Ricardo?
That's right, y'all. We're gonna make butts real again, because man, we got our butts kicked last week, Tuesday. Not us, but the Democratic Party. Still an independent voter, but man, what a complete difference a week makes. But here we are.
And right. I'll do it for my twin. Hee. Continue.
All right. So the title of the show, The Aftermath, the glass ceiling has not been broken. And the glass ceiling refers to, obviously, the fact that we have not had a woman president in the history of the country. We attempted that last week, and once again, no. So we're gonna go all the fallouts of the election, our opinions on the campaigns, how they were ran, the rhetoric that both sides really are saying. It's amazing how people can switch up in times of dire problems. So everything that has to do with the election. But before we go into all of that, there was a show yesterday. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Man Talk Monday. Gotta check it out. And amazing show as always. And again, they were not denied with another great show yesterday. Wayne on the show. For the second week in a row, we're going to look at another excerpt from Wayne on that show. And then we'll get into, the basic of what our thoughts are on the election, what Wayne said, other thoughts on what other people think as well. So let's go into yesterday's show, little piece of yesterday's show on Man Talk Monday, which featured Trevor, of course, Mers. I like the Mers. Mers, Wayne, and
Sound like
Kev.
Something I caught at the hospital.
All right, so we'll be back on the other end.
Shout out Tape Fist Politics. But this isn't that show.
But since we have this segment, I want to say my piece. So to address the young lady, this is what I'm talking about. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. This is why I'm black pill. This is why I'm Captain Manosphere. Because at the end of the day, no matter what the results are, you see the chart, the only ally that black women had was black men. And who they still decide to check. They decided to check the 20% of black men who voted for Trump the last election. It's the same percentage. Y'all too, and this is what I be talking about. You're too coward to check the white women. You're too coward to check the Latino women. You ain't waving your fingers at them because where are your allies? You had no allies. You had Dr. Mia come on the show and wave her finger at black men. You had D.L. Hughley, they had the BET Summit waving their finger at black men. You had Barack Obama waving his finger at black men, who, by the way, didn't even want her, say we should do a preliminary. Nancy Pelosi didn't want her. Nobody liked her. Democrats, understand something. This election, people voted with their wallets, not their emotions. You know, you got these guys on these shows who call themselves politically prophets, who call themselves political savvy.
Talk your shit.
But you ain't paying attention to what's going on around you. And what did I say, fellas? And y'all can vouch for me. What did I say in my rant? What do I say in the chat? It's follow the money.
Facts.
What did your boy say on Baby Boy? Butter, baby. It's about the butter.
Yes, sir.
I got people calling me. I got close friends who are multimillionaires. I got successful people who own their homes who's calling me, man, I'm getting out of Fort Lauderdale. My taxes are $10,000 a year. This is crazy. Groceries at minimum. Listen, we live in a country where it literally takes 2 incomes to survive. Literally. Especially in some cities. At a minimum in South Florida, a 1-bedroom on a low end is $1,700 to $2,200 a month. Insurance rates going up, mortgage rates going up, grocery rates going up, gas going up, and nobody listen. I'm not saying that, you know, we shouldn't talk about abortion, but again, Democrats and Harris, listen. They got their ass kicked. You got your ass kicked. I don't want to hear it, Democrats. You got your ass kicked. Take it. It was a red wave. Kamala didn't even want to talk to nobody. She ran a horrible campaign, and she had $1 billion behind her. Nobody wanted her. Nobody liked her. They didn't even want her for vice president. Somebody said, "Well, she's very capable." Nobody liked her. Nobody wanted her. But back to the girl. I'm a land. But back to this young lady. This is what I'm talking about. You know why black men that they come after you? Because it costs them nothing to come after you. It costs them nothing to come after you, no matter what. The numbers speak for itself. Black women, you had 0 allies as far as women. Latinos left and white women, they did it to you again, didn't they? They did it to you again. They had you going, just like in the feminist movement, they had you throw your fists up in the air and say, yeah, tell our men to go kiss it. And they just wanted a piece of pie. Once white women got their piece of the pie, what they did, they went right home and cooked dinner for their men while y'all still out there saying, fuck our men. And they did it to you again this election, didn't they? They was right next to you saying abortion, women's rights, blah, blah, blah. And look at the election when they went into booth, what they did. They went behind their men. They went right behind their men. And look at who you waved your finger at. The demographic who had your back, just like everything, just like in every situation. Black men as a group, there's no group of men that stand behind their women like black men through it all. You talk to them any kind of way, you treat them any kind of way, and at the end of the day, there's no man that's subservient, that bows down to their woman like the black man do to his woman. You see it on the chart. You see it. The Latinos, the whites, others. And then I got somebody like Dr. Mill want to come over and talk about the toxic patriarchy and the matriarch and this and that and that and this. Why you ain't, if you don't vote for a woman, then you have this problem, your mama problem, and this and that. Look at the numbers. Dr. Mill, where are your allies? Where are your female allies? Are you gonna do a show and call them out? I'll wait. You put huh? You and this is why I say, man, this is what I'm talking about with black women and women in particular. They live in their emotions. They can't get out of it. The facts are in your face. Your facts are in your face that the only ally you had in this election was black men, and you still decide to wave your finger at black men and not wait. I don't know. Are you scared of white women? Are you scared of Latino women to call them out? Because if this was about women's rights, you had a woman who was going for president. Why didn't women come out in droves and vote? Even the women, some people decided to stay home. Why didn't they come out and just vote for women's sake? Where are your allies? So, Dr. Mill, I'm waiting on you to do a show to wave your finger at white women and Latino women for not coming out in droves and voting for female rights. So I don't want to hear nothing about no patriarchy. I don't want to hear nothing because these other groups of women standing behind their men. So this idea that we live in this toxic, patriotic, masculine country, everybody, all these other women, obviously y'all ain't on the same page. Because if that was the case, then Kamala would have blew all in the lines of white women and Latino women. The only large line that she had was black women and black men. And you shake your hand at black men. Why? Because it costs you nothing. And that's a coward way. And I land.
All right, there we go. So that was Wayne on Man Talk Monday yesterday. Before we go on, I'd like to introduce Yanga on the panel. What's going on, Yanga?
Oh shit, they got gang of black power. I know I'm black power, goddamn it. Black power.
I think MD grew some locks just that quick.
Oh, maybe he's there
Black
you
Power,
go.
can you hear me? Yeah, Black Power, MD.
Black power, yes sir.
Yes sir, man. I had to jump on. Just listening to the opening. Wayne was going in. So with the clip you played on Man Talk Monday, so I'm sitting back listening till I have opportunity to run my mouth.
All right. So the first before we go into it, I just want to say something real quick. So I don't agree with everything there. And what I mean is I think people twisting it. Meaning, yes, about 80% of black men did vote for Kamala Harris, but that's a hell of a drop off. It's still a significant number, but it's a hell of a drop off from years before. And that is fundamentally what Barack Obama was talking about. He was talking about, go ahead.
Van Cat, what percentage of black women didn't vote for Kamala?
Like 8 or less, something like that.
No, like 10. Like 10.
Yeah, it's about 8.
No, like 10. Closer to 10. I promise you,
Yeah.
closer to 10.
They voted 92% Kamala. 92%.
Yeah, it's 92.
No, it was 90. It was 91%. That was 9% that didn't vote for her.
Oh,
the paperwork is there. You guys have the sheet. It's 9% women. That is basically statistically, we are double men. Black men didn't vote, so it's 10 percentage points. You can't. I don't want to hear it if you're not going to go after them 10% of women that decided that Trump was better for him. He's 100% right. Wayne is correct. Nobody wants to. You still going after the guys. It's just 10% more guys. It was just 10%.
Well, 10% is smaller than 20%. 23 to be exact.
Sir. I'm saying it's just 10% more black men than black women. That's it.
Yeah.
And you just said it yourself. 10% is small. You just said it. So it's 10% more black men voted for Trump than women. 10% more. We're in the same ballpark. So don't act like, oh, they had Obama numbers. I don't want to hear none of that.
Well,
10%
to further
more
elucidate,
black men. Go ahead.
to further elucidate, and I get your point, Mike. But at the end of the day, I first called this a landslide. I don't believe that anymore, based
It's
on the
not a
fact that
landslide.
there's still millions of votes to be counted in California alone. The numbers are going to drop. The numbers are going to increase as far as demographics. So if I had to guesstimate, it's probably going to be somewhere around 15% with the black men, and it's going to definitely lessen with black women. But I'm gonna let you continue. Hey, Vancat, you got to
Yeah.
go in. This is not the show to try to do mental gymnastics like Wayne did. Go in, cause I'm going in.
Can I
Hey,
ask that?
I will step
I have a
aside. Please
question.
go in.
I have a question. My question is one, everybody can these sisters talk about black men didn't vote. Why should have black men voted for Kamala? That's the first question. And secondly, here's an opportunity to repair the divide in our community. The strongest institution that the black community has is black family. This speaks volumes to the lack of concern of black family by just totally getting rid of the black man. I mean, they trying to call us misogynistic and everything. Kamala has a white husband. I can't get past that. What more big a screw you? You know what I'm saying? How big a screw you to the black man could you get? It was all about the women. The feminists have come in and did what every other minority group has done. They pimped black women's blackness. They wanted them to use their blackness like the transgender community did, like the Jews did, like the damn Palestinians. Everybody does. And women are upset because men didn't buy into a damn feminist agenda. Only thing they kept pushing was a black woman. What did you propose to the black? We know what you were going to offer transgender. We know what you were going to offer certain sections of the Hispanic community. What were you offering black people? Not just black women, but black people as a collective. That's my
Well,
question.
that lies the problem, Jenga. It's not for politicians to offer anything to a single demographic. Why not offer, I don't know, just basic human rights? Why do we have to play the identity politics game and facilitate to a certain group of people? The Constitution don't work that way. It just don't. And that's why we in the problem that we're in right now.
What you
That's
mean?
why Wayne said what he said. Because I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The Democrats kowtowed to certain demographics and held them in a higher position than others. I agree with you on that.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that's the problem. It shouldn't be, and I know Venkat, because I got a bone to pick with Venkat. So we're gonna get into it later. But in my opinion, that's the issue. Because Democrats don't see basic rights of people as Americans. They look at it as a facilitation of certain groups. And that's what pissed a lot of people off. That's a fact.
See, I don't even think that's what it is. And I don't agree.
No,
I don't disagree.
I'm confused because one person is saying they didn't do something specific for a group, and now MD just said the opposite.
No, he didn't. He said the exact same thing. He did not say the opposite.
Let me ask everybody on the
Vancat's trying
panel.
to be Kevin.
I think it is good politics.
They said the exact same thing, just from different vantage points. They did not disagree.
Oh.
And Vancat's smart enough to know that. And that's my problem. Move, Vancat, because you're Vancat trying to sow discord with this brotherhood of blackness. This is what happened. Real talk. The Democrats are so pussy that they don't know how to make their own talking points. They don't know how to make their own stances. All they do is defend what Republicans say or what Republicans do. That's why what MD said is I agree with. They should have stood on their own merits.
So
They should have
hold
stood
on, Mike.
on
So
the.
you just made a great point there, right?
I always make great points. So Mike is right.
Yeah. So they're defending what Republicans are doing, but this is politics. So you just do what the electorate allows you to do. So the Democrats,
no, you
they have
don't.
to. Yes, you do.
Republicans
Donald
don't do
Trump.
what the
Donald
electorate
Trump.
allows you to do. Republicans do whatever the hell they want to do, and
No,
they've
that's
been
not true
doing
at
it
all.
since
That
before Karl Rove.
that's not true at all. It's
What?
the polling. It's the polling that
MAGA
told
did the
Trump.
same thing. Yeah, MAGA did the same thing the Democrats did. They played identity politics. Continue, Venkat.
MAGA does
Donald
whatever the
Trump.
hell they
Donald
want
Trump.
whenever they choose.
Donald Trump
That's what I'm.
knows from the polling that he has in his administration. He knew from way back when where he stood with his MAGA people. He has the polling that shows that they're with him on certain things. So, or almost everything, to be honest. So he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. The politician is not able to just do anything you want to do. That's a Trump phenomenon. That hasn't happened in politics traditionally all these years and decades. This is
Sir,
a new phenomenon.
sir, just
I don't
because
think so. I think Trump
just
Puerto Rican.
because it doesn't happen doesn't mean it can't happen. You're all you're doing is showing me that the Democrats are slow-minded morons. Just like when W came into office and he was doing all the stuff, they're like, oh, you can't do this. They did it. When they were in office and they did whatever they wanted, you can't make us go to war. Yes, I can. They did it. When Trump came up the first time, you can't call her names. I did it. And I'll give her another name. When the Republicans do what they want. The Democrats do whatever they can. That's the problem. They pussy. And y'all act like y'all don't
Okay.
see it. They
Okay.
soft,
So
and that's why they'll never be respected or win. They're trying to placate to people who think in soft natures, trying to placate to the trans and the women, and they've let the men go by the wayside. That's cute and all, but when it comes down to voting time, a majority of women are going to side with their men. It is what it is. There's a reason men are the leaders, and I'm sorry to make this a little Man Talk Monday-ish. There's a
oh
reason
boy.
that men are the leaders and women follow, because women are more comfortable letting somebody else go. A man doesn't have that chance to just, oh, I'm gonna let somebody else do it for me. I gotta stand on mine. And when women see a man standing on theirs, they're gonna go there. You know how many women don't like women leaders? Are you serious?
So
That's a crock. That's a crock
Facts
of
on
shit.
that
Well,
one.
yeah, I don't
we know
believe in
that's a
that
crock of
either.
shit because
No, no,
what did the exit
that's
poll
good,
tell us?
Venkat. There's
Y'all
something
just
they said
looking
about
at
Quinn about
y'all just looking at the demographics.
about you can't like they fooled this one woman and they said Kamala won and she went in and then she mind you this is a white woman and she said damn well a woman can't run this country. This is a white
Thank
woman.
you.
I was shocked.
I thought.
And
See
mind you, she's
again.
not a looker. She's not. By all means, she's one of them people that was probably from the Appalachians or something. But man, when she said, damn well a woman can't run this country, and then they told her President Trump won, she got ecstatic. So there are women that are out there that really do think that. That's crazy
A
to me.
lot of them.
Yeah,
Hey,
they
can you
do
hear me?
think it,
Can
man.
anybody hear me?
Crazy, but
We can hear you,
Yeah.
but it's his
Yeah.
turn to talk.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I was just making sure that my mic was straight because I'm
Nah,
on
you
these
good,
damn
bro.
Bluetooth.
All right. So
Hey,
all right.
real quick. No, we can't get off of it, Van Cat. We can't do this.
Let MD
They
talk.
just
Go ahead.
made a point. I
go
told
ahead,
you this was
MD.
gonna be the
Going
show.
out, but
I told
I know.
I told you
Go
this
ahead.
was gonna be that show, Van Cat. I told you this prior.
talk
All
They
right.
about
Go
just
ahead,
made a
MD.
statement. See, and this is the problem with trying to play mental gymnastics to try to rationalize your agenda, whatever.
MD. We can't hear you. You
But
on mute, MD.
I hear him loud and clear.
Ricardo,
Go
stop
ahead, man.
playing. Stop playing,
okay.
Ricardo.
He trolling me. Okay, listen.
I'm just no, so yeah, I mean it's one of those things where, and I ain't gonna lie, because I was shocked myself because I really thought, with the whole audacity of hope and we're all a kumbaya team together, we're all gonna pull through like the midterms and everybody gonna come out and vote. What
Nope.
we saw was 15 million people sat this election out. And now, mind
Yep.
you, we've heard MD say this, it's gonna probably come down to a tight race, or people are just gonna sit this election out. I was not expecting people to literally sit it out. 15 million people is a lot of people on the percentile. That's a lot of people that should have went out and vote. The question is, why did they not come out and vote? Is it that the underlying issue was that some people said according to what I've heard in the polls, some people said they still did not know who Kamala was. Now, mind you, I think the problem was that they kept seeing Trump in, and I forgot about this because from the onset of the year, Trump has been in the news cycle repeatedly every freaking minute. Now, if people are watching Fox News, just seeing Trump, 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 Trump. Mind you, remember, we're talking about his litigation cases here. If we're forgetting the beginning of the year, they were saying stuff about the case being delayed until after the election. So we forgot that he was literally in the whole news cycle the whole time. So people would have been resonating with Trump anyways. I don't know if Kamala needed to be out there more. She didn't do a lot of interviews. She missed one of the biggest podcasts. I don't know what it was, but I feel like the Democrats really missed the mark. When I believe I was watching CNN one night, or I think it was her convention when she got nominated, where Jake Tapper was like, I don't understand how this makes sense. Why are the fat cats in the, like, it's kind of like if you're watching an NFL game where they're in the booth. What do you call that special section where all those rich people and all them celebrities will be at in that one particular room? They were all up there. It's like all money. And he's like, this don't make no sense. Why are you not mingling with the folks, the common folks at the bottom? And he's like, this is a problem because it's not the first time he's noticed it, but this time it's very evident. They felt like they knew everything. They felt like they were going to get it. And then now he's like, don't be surprised if the end result is not what we're expecting. When I saw Jake Tapper's face that night on CNN, I knew something was wrong. I knew it was wrong because I was like, yo, the numbers are not making sense. Remember, at one point we were like, at the 9 o'clock hour, we were like, okay, well, it's either there's a glitch or something, but these numbers are not coming through like we're thinking it is. And this is why you always hear me say, I don't believe in polls, because the polls are always off. And we learned that from Hillary when they were like, yeah, Hillary's going to win. And then when Hillary's numbers keep coming in, we're like, yeah, is this right? This doesn't make sense. So 15 million people, like, how did we miss that? Not even we. How did everybody else miss the 15 million mark? Because there should have been some resonation somewhere. But again, Twin has said it, Mike had said it all along. I don't see her winning. I just don't see it. And literally, again, 78% of black men literally went out and voted for Kamala. So they tied themselves to the black women going out to vote. So
No,
you
they
can't
didn't.
blame
Why do
black
people
men.
keep saying that?
Black women
They
is
didn't. They didn't
92%.
tie themselves to shit. Why
But
do
they
y'all keep
showed the
saying that?
numbers, though. How is it
I
90?
don't know why. The
What,
narrative,
like, what is going on?
the Republicans have controlled the narrative, and then we're just falling in line. We
Some
got
crook, line, and
Mr.
sinker.
Straight Talk. We got Mr. Straight Talk on the panel. Go ahead, Trevor. Say your piece here.
What are we
There
falling for? I
is.
need to hear this.
You fail for the tie, the black woman, the black man. Black men didn't tie themselves to a goddamn thing, but the country. That's what they tied themselves
I
to.
didn't say black men tied themselves. I said we're
But,
their only ally.
that's because y'all deviated from the initial conversation. That's why I'm going back to it. I'm not gonna let it go. But that I'm
I
not
hope
gonna
you
let it
don't.
go.
I hope you
All
don't.
right. Obviously, this is a hot episode. Okay, so let's go to Trevor. Go ahead, Trevor. The floor is yours.
All I need is 1 minute. I didn't even come up here to get in this conversation. Y'all got it. I just want to say that I did sign the biggest debate this channel is ever going to have for December 5th. So pat on the back to me. But what I did come up here to do is say peace to my brother Yanga. What's going on, Yanga? Right now he's on mute.
Did you sign Jesus?
Yeah, he's probably.
Oh man, I wanted to
occupied.
holler at Yanga, man. But hey, man, I just want to make sure that y'all keep it consistent. And I didn't get to see the beginning of the show. I caught the tail end where you were playing Wayne's epic rant. So I don't really know what was said. I'm gonna hit Dr. Mia.
Yanga dropped off.
I'm gonna hit Dr. Mia up in a few to see can she still come on. She said she was gonna try to come on when she was done with her clients. But I do just want to hear. I want to make sure that you guys keep it consistent. And I did want to come up here for Ricardo though, because last night Ricardo was doing a lot of conceding to what Wayne was saying and a lot of agreeing when for the past 57 episodes on Tape is Politics, you was going the opposite way. So I'm just saying, don't change now because the rant sounded good.
So where did I say anything different? All I said all along was that it's going to be a close race. I don't believe that we should be voting for Trump, and I never will agree with him because of that man, I lost two people that worked close to me. And then fourth, if there's a fourth, there's nothing wrong with me conceding and saying, hey, there's a thing there. But I've always said, and I've always made it clear, if you're voting the opposite way, it is a wasted vote because there's only two parties. If there was four parties, like in Britain, there's like two parties or maybe three. In Canada, there's maybe three or four. The United States is a duopoly. So you can't really go with, oh, I'm going to go vote for one and then go, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't work that way. We're wasting a vote. So I've always said, I'm going to still state that. You're voting for, if you're voting one way, it's one way, or you just can't flip-flop. It's a wasted vote. So unless we come up with a second, third, fourth, like four parties, or maybe I always go with three because you can always go purple. That's the only way you could concede a vote. It doesn't make sense. You're wasting a vote. But I digress. What I usually would say is, go out and vote. It regardless. But I always made it clear for this election, vote for Democrats anyways, because the Republicans, we don't know what their agenda was. With Project 2025, there's a whole bunch of crap that was coming out. We were like, all right, this just looks way too scary on paper. If you implement most of these things, I just say go for Democrats anyways. So that's what I was going for. But I digress.
Okay, so can we get back to the conversation now?
Hold on, MD. Hold on, MD. I wish he would have said that yesterday, but he didn't. All he was doing was just patting Wayne on the back. So I just wanted to get that part out, though. But I'm about to dip
but he wasn't wrong with most of the things. I agree with most of the things that he was saying. It's not everything I agree with.
97%.
But
he's just attacking you because you team mirror twin. That's all it is.
But for the most part, he didn't say anything I wouldn't have agreed with. I have a problem with the alphabet community. It will always be an issue to me, and especially with the fact that they closed it up with the Democratic Party. For that main reason, I've always made it clear I am an independent voter. I can't vote. I don't like either one of the parties, but I have to sit in the middle because they have to cater to what I need voting for. So he didn't really say anything off mark. The only issue I had all along was that I think he insinuated, what difference does it make if black men doesn't vote? And I said, there is a difference. You have the right to vote. People died for you for the right for you to vote. Go vote anyways. It's a civic duty. I don't care who you voted for, although I was leaning more towards everybody going for the Democrats. But vote, because you can't be saying, oh, I'm not going to vote. We shouldn't vote. No, go out and vote. That's your civic duty. People literally died on their deathbed, being scolded, being thrown in fires and all of that to not be given it. You were given aptitude tests to be taken for you to vote. That's crazy to me that people be like, oh, I'm not going to vote. Go vote. That's the one.
But that's also a right, Ricardo. The right is a right. It's not a duty. It's a right. You have the right to vote, meaning you can vote or you can't vote. Our ancestors didn't have that opportunity to even choose. So it's a right.
I'm a step down because I got stuff that I got to do, but I want to hear fired up MD.
I'm waiting to get back to the conversation that was initially imposed.
We're not gonna go back to that conversation.
All right. Let's go back with MD. MD, go ahead and set it off. MD, go ahead.
Ricardo, you just said that the lady said that not gonna vote for a woman. All right, let's look in retrospect. Y'all live in South Florida, one of the most multicultural places that you can live in Florida. Am I correct on that?
Yep.
Let's take a state like Alabama, one of the most culturally linear places that you can stay in America. Will everybody agree on that?
Yep.
Who is the governor of Alabama? Pop quiz.
I was gonna say something rude, so I'm not gonna say it. It was gonna be funny though.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't nobody know the answer. I'll tell you. Everybody got an F. Kay Ivey. Kay Ivey is a woman who just got announced as a Homeland Security Director. The governor of South Dakota, Kristi Long, one of the craziest people in America.
Yep. That's the lady that shot the dogs and the goat.
Shot the dog, about to kill the goat. Ain't no misogyny there. One of the most culturally linear places that you can say. Who the hell finna stay in South Dakota? You know what to expect. Let's
Sir,
go to the great state of Arkansas.
I can push back against that, sir.
Yeah, you can, but you're gonna have to deflect from the original intent of your argument. That's cool. Again,
No. My argument stays the same. I'll just take the voting record where they have all those same people that were voting for the blue and the blue women and the red women all did not vote for Kamala because they do not want a woman in the highest position. They don't see a woman in the high. It's different if I'm voting for a dean, that's one thing. If I'm voting for the CEO, the president, there's women that will not do it. They don't want a woman in top charge.
But Mike, to be fair, the majority. I'm sorry, Andy. The majority of black women voted for Kamala. The majority of Puerto Rican women, Latinos voted for Kamala.
Don't say Puerto Rican women.
Well,
You don't know the numbers.
Latino women majority voted for Kamala Harris. It's the majority of white women that voted for Donald Trump.
Sir,
That's where the real issue is at.
Always vote for Donald Trump.
And to debunk his argument, the Republicans of today believe in what? The argument is you talking about the highest office because all MAGA maniacs care about is states' rights. The governorship in each individual state has more of a responsibility than the president will ever have.
You're wrong, sir.
That's a fact.
The MAGAs don't care about state rights. MAGAs care about Trump. Republicans care about state rights. MAGA cares about Trump and Trump's cronies. Big difference.
Okay, so one of the things I want to say here is now the strategy here is
nice try though.
The strategy here is let's tell the Democrats who have I guess neglected the American people. You can say that with all political parties because that's the game of politics. But when you look at the two, it is highly, highly questionable for somebody to pretend that this current economy that we're sitting on is bad. That is ridiculous. Right at this moment, the numbers that this economy have is you hadn't seen the numbers maybe not since the 1950s. And I'm sorry?
I have to disagree, Van Cat.
That is not.
Continue, Van Cat.
So we're pretending that everything is so bad. Meanwhile, this guy who we gave 4 years to walked into office under Mr. Blackenstein, Obama record and economy. He walked in, sat down in that desk. He had an amazing economy done. Remember 2012 debates, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Remember the unemployment rate was at over 10%. Mitt Romney in that debate said, you get me in office, I'm going to bring it down to 8%. That was his bar, 8%. Obama left office at about 6.2% unemployment. All right. Right now, currently, the unemployment rate is around 4%. Damn near 3%. So this delusional that, oh my God, my eggs cost money when there's like 15 brands of eggs and you could go to the 99-cent one. So the one that used to be 99 cents today is $1.29. Get whoop-de-frickin' do.
That's not true.
Since this whole pandemic crap happened, I keep seeing eggs out on the shelf, and I don't remember a time when I'm like, oh my God, I ain't getting eggs today. And I go to Whole Foods, I go to Trader Joe's, I go to Publix, I go to Target. I've always been able to pick up
economy. That's not the economy, back there.
Exactly. So a lot of people took that and made that the driving message and looking silly in the process. Out of the last 10 recessions that we've had in this country, 9 of them were under Republican presidents.
Don't disagree. I don't disagree.
9 of them it was caused by 9 Republican presidents. So we also have a situation where, as Bill Clinton stated, since 1989, how much jobs have the Republican Party created? 1 million.
My turn.
How much jobs have the Democrats created? 50 million. It's a 50-to-1. I mean, this is ridiculous. So what my question would be is, you have clearly between the two parties, one that flat out don't give a damn, one that has to give a damn but slump their feet around a few times. So we went and made the executive decision. I made this distinction before. You're a little kid at home. Mommy and daddy tell you to clean your room. You don't like that. Oh, they're the worst. I'm going down the road to Mr. Stevens. And Mr. Stevens is a pedophile. And that's what you did. You got pissed off with the Democratic Party for whatever reason. And then you went down the street to get your ass tagged by the Republican Party. So now what I am saying is, what is your plan, niggas? Because at this point, you gave up the House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court, and multiple governorships across the country. That will last for over 30 years, if you're lucky. What is your plan at this point? This was the dumbest tantrum I've ever seen, where it seemed like nobody was thinking. We have demographics outwardly and gleefully voting against their own self-interest, and I'm supposed to take these niggas seriously. And I mean it, but black people. My definition of nigga has always been ignorant people. So I call crackers black. I mean nigga all the time. So I just want to make that distinction. So you have a lot of people doing stupid things with no real long-term thought behind it. Again, it is better to muscle the Democrats at a certain point in the electoral process than it is to just give up your whole keys in house to the party that was raping you months, years earlier. What is your plan at this point? And some people, they just love trolling. Other people are cowards and they're like, they won, I'm with them. It reminds me of Miami Heat fans. They're never there when they're losing, and they're always there when they're winning championships.
And they leave early.
So again, we've already established that the American voters, if you want to call it that, did no work whatsoever. Any grown human being sitting down telling me they don't know who Kamala Harris is. Kamala Harris has been in the public spotlight for more than a decade. Also, you live in a day and age of digital media. You could watch anything you want when you want to watch it.
That's the problem.
So I don't understand what is the disconnect, and there's a lot of excuses being made. We're going to pretend that the Democratic Party is overly bad. And we're also going to do course correction on what we just witnessed in this election cycle, where we're saying the Democrats are constantly concentrating on racists and identity and all this other stuff. Donald Trump spent $65 million on transgenders. And we're talking about Democrats, about identity politics. Man, you guys, come on, man.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Go ahead, MD. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I made the statement that everybody was correct as far as the whole trans and identity politics. I agree. The Democrats kowtow to these positions, but not by default. They did it by proxy of what the Republicans said that they were doing.
That's what I said.
And the Democrats didn't push back on it at all. Let me ask you a question, Venkat. What at any point in time throughout Kamala Harris's campaign, through the 3 months that she had, did she say anything about trans people? Anything?
Every time she talked about trans, it was to debunk the notion of trans from Trump.
Okay, gotcha.
That was the only time she brought it up.
The ad that was shown. When did she say that?
When did she say that? She said it multiple times, but very prominently on the Breakfast Club.
About the trans people getting the surgery?
Say that again, MD. I couldn't hear that.
About the trans people getting the surgery.
Right. And that was a fake ad, by the way, that
That was in 2019.
No, it was not. No, it was not. They ran
Thank you.
an ad during football
I know
commercials.
that.
Yeah, yes.
I know
And
that.
Charlemagne and DJ MV sent a cease and desist letter because they manipulated a commercial that made it sound like they were advocating for what Trump was saying.
You misinterpreted what I'm saying. You misinterpreted.
Go
The
ahead.
ad that they showed, the video where she was talking about the trans getting the surgery in prison. When did she say that? That was in 2019 when she said it. That video that they played talking to the tranny was literally from 2019. That's what I'm telling you. The hell with Charlamagne the God. I don't. These people are non sequiturs to me. I don't care nothing about them. I'm talking about Kamala Harris herself. The video that was played in the ad during football. That video that was played was from 2019, separate from this particular campaign that we're speaking on. So I'm telling you that at no point in time during this campaign did she even speak on transgender. But because they let that there to play out and didn't push back on it, we have the position that Kamala Harris cares more about trans people than the everyday working man. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I get you. That's
the problem.
Let me
It's
get
crazy.
off of real quick. I'm gonna get off this because what Van Cat said, it was I'm not gonna go into the economy because you guys are smarter than me when it comes to that. I find it highly elitist of you to make your little egg jargon, even though it was funny, because it's not just eggs. If I'm spending $300 on my groceries, but everything jumps up 40 cents or 30 to 40 cents, now I'm spending five something, that hurts. That hurts, especially if I'm not making the amount of money that people on this panel are making. I assume I make the least amount. I'm just assuming because I have a negative outcome on myself, but we're not talking about that right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure I do. Especially with, Mr. Truck Driver over there probably. Anyway. But I'm saying it's a very hard thing for people to get. And you look to your party to have your back, right? But you don't have a progressive party. What you have is a bunch of Republican lights. And
Yeah, I agree
nobody
with that.
can get
I agree.
excited for that.
I agree
Nobody
with
can
you,
get
man.
excited. And every single blood clot election that we have Van Cat saying the same thing. It's the lesser of two evils. Just go ahead and vote for the Dems now, and then we'll just go ahead and vote for the Dems now, and then things will get better. Just go ahead and people got sick of hearing that. They got sick of hearing it. Don't get me wrong. I am not one of the people that think we should have not voted. I'm not one of the people that think we should have went for Trump. I'm not an idiot. I'm not crazy. I know Trump is detrimental. I read most of Project 2025, and I was on here with you terrified. I would never want that, but I can't sit here and act like I don't understand why they did it. I can't sit here and act like I don't understand why they thought their vote made no sense or their vote no longer counted or their vote had no weight because Democrats freaking failed. They do it all the time. They literally live off of the fear that they expect us to have of Republicans. That's what it is. That's all if you won't vote for me, you ain't black. That's all that means. That's all y'all don't want Trump to be in office. That's all that means. All that means is, ooh, look, it's the boogeyman. So I'm telling you, it's not my parents upset me, so I'm going down the street to the pedophile. It's my abusive parents are beating on me, and the pedophile, after he diddles their butt, he at least gives them a hot pocket. Okay? That's what it really is. That's what it really is. Because Democrats are shit. And they're not even good at being shit. They're just reactionary morons. That's what they do. And nobody gets excited for that. The only light they had was Bernie and his people, and they stabbed them in the chest like the Red fricking Wedding. That's who the Democrats are. Anyone that pushes them to the left, which is what they're supposed to be, they destroy, or they try to dissect, or they try to minimize.
There's a lot
They
of truth in
want
what
to
you're
be
saying there.
centrist.
There's a lot of truth there. There's
No,
a
there's
lot of truth.
all truth. Name something I said that wasn't factual.
There's a lot of truth there, Mike.
you didn't name not a single economic policy that Kamala had. That's what's not fact.
Hey,
You
I
said
didn't talk
all of
about
that
Kamala
and then
Harris. I didn't talk about Kamala Harris.
you just talked about how the people were hurting what's in their pocket. You
I
didn't name
said
anything.
Democrats. I said Democrats. I didn't say Kamala. Kamala wasn't even running for what,
Kamala's a
3 months?
Democrat.
Yo, she's a Democrat, but she's not the Democrat. I'm talking about the DNC. I'm talking about Democrats as a
Who come up
whole.
with the policy? The president don't come up with no damn policy.
Yo,
The
what
Democratic
the hell?
National
Did
Committee do.
anyone hear me say anything about policies? I
You
said
said
they
the
don't
people's pockets
believe
was
in
hurting.
them.
That's all they cared about.
I
What
said they don't
policy was going to
believe.
alleviate that?
Yo,
You
you starting to
removed
listen.
yourself.
You starting not to
You
listen.
removed yourself from even speaking about that.
So
You
you
said
do
all
about
of
what?
that for what?
What are you
If the
talking about?
point of the matter is, hey, look, people are hurt. You talk about identity politics, you're trans, blah blah blah, this and that.
People are
But the
hurting.
people don't care nothing about that. People are hurting. Okay, cool. Who was the candidate that had something that was going to alleviate that hurt?
Right. Kamala Harris talked about price
We
gouging.
sit here bullshitting.
We never heard
Price
Trump
gouging.
say that once.
Sir,
He never
She
said
said
that
she was
word
going to deal with the
once.
corporations about price gouging. That's a direct effect of why your prices are hurting. Direct.
sir,
The price gouging
everything
is
you're
the
saying
problem.
sounds wonderful when you're talking to a politically astute person. Everybody on
So
this
so ba-
panel
so so
here,
so
no.
basically,
I'll let you get
we
your
too
shit off.
stupid. We too stupid to
Everybody on
know
this
what's
panel,
what.
Oh,
everybody on this panel understands what that means. People who are crying about egg prices don't.
okay, so Mike,
You
real
can
quick.
front all
So
you want and act like, oh, they're idiots. Cool. We sit on here every week and we say the American voters are what? What do I say? They're idiots. The American voters are lemmings. I say that every time this happens. It's one of my shits. It's one
So
of my
does
things.
that mean that
If
we
you
use it as
can't
an
dumb it
excuse?
down, if you can't dumb it down to
Oh
get your
man.
point across, no, because that's what everybody knows. If you've taken any class when it comes to communication, anyone that's taken a class when it comes to communication, you know the point of communication is to get your point across to the person you're talking to. And if they don't understand, then you failed. You're the failure. You can talk all that you want. Not everybody's a political prophet. Not everybody can name the governor of
That's
freaking
true.
New Hampshire. Not everybody can name the governor of Minnesota. All
that's
they know
true.
is my freaking price went up. All they know is I used to pay $1,000 for a 4-bedroom. Now I pay $1,700 for what do you call it, a sectional, or what the hell is efficiency. That's all they know. So you can pop off with the big dog language. That's cute and that's wonderful. Here we get it. In the world they don't. Period. Point blank. And I
I'll
land.
agree with you on that point. The messaging was horrible. I agree with you on that point.
That's all
But
I'm
we
saying.
gotta meet in the middle some type of way. I cannot like you wouldn't expect that from your children. You
Because
wouldn't expect that from
because
your
I
children.
raise my children, and I know they're not stupid.
So it's up to the government to raise them.
No, it's up to the government to be smart enough to communicate. Because Trump don't have no problems getting his points to the MAGAs. Every time Trump does something non-MAGA-like, what do his MAGAs people say? Oh, we know what he's trying to do. Whenever Trump comes over and goes, oh, I love my blacks. I love the blacks. I love the Latinos. I love the Latinas. They always, what the MAGAs people say? He's just saying that to try to get some more votes. We know where he stands. Because he did his groundwork. He did his groundwork. The Democrats have not. All they do is fearmonger. That's it.
Vancat, the Trump, words are key, right? He said groundwork. Vancat, did the Trump campaign have a ground game?
Not that
Yes,
I
it
can
was
see.
called the last time he ran.
They did not have a ground game, Mike.
Yes,
At all.
their ground game is laid out from the first time he ran and the second time he ran. They're already MAGA maniacs. That's why we call them that.
Yeah, but MAGA maniacs only make up like 36% of the election.
Right, and that
They are not the
36% is
majority.
high enough to get the Republican Party to get in freaking line.
There's two reasons he got the popular vote. He got the popular vote because of independence, and he got the popular vote for people that just did not vote. They just
And I
dropped
told you
out.
there's no such thing
That's
as these
what caused
independents
it.
y'all keep talking about. They're not. They're lying. I told y'all that too, and no one want to listen to me. They lie and they smile on TV so they look good and they look like, oh, I do like the Negro. When they go in the voting booth, they're voting for Trump.
Yep, I agree with that point.
Y'all keep acting like these independents are fake. The only independents left are me, Ricardo, and MD before he went black. That's it.
Yeah, I'm black power now. I know, but
and
even
I know,
then,
sir.
and I
I
respect.
don't think you can call yourself an independent if you didn't vote Republican and you didn't vote Democrat at some point.
Who, me?
You can't be. You can't. No, I'm not.
You know
Not
why I
you
can
per
call
se.
myself
I mean,
independent?
no, I
You know
mean
why?
like people in general. People in
Because
general.
nobody hates Democrats like I do. I just happen to hate Republicans more. I
Oh,
hate every last one of them bastards. The only reason I talk, I'm like Bernie.
oh,
I only caucus with them heifers. I don't even like
so
talking to them.
earlier I wanted to make a point, and I wasn't like totally disagreeing with what Wayne was saying, but all I was saying was pretty much I don't feel like Obama, and I don't feel like certain black people like myself. I don't feel like it's like, oh, you black people, black men didn't vote. I think what it is people expected like it to be a higher number, closer to black women, closer to the 90s or the high 80s. It was 78%, barely 80%. That's what Obama was saying, that they didn't vote, or the possibility of their vote was not going to be as close as when he was in office. And there's
Hey,
been a steady decline over the years.
and
Like,
that's
like,
because they
like
feel like they have no place. There is don't
I
get it
don't think so,
twisted.
because a lot
Obama
of
got the Obama votes because he a nigga. Like y'all can act in front all you want. He got him because he's black. That's it.
I think
That's it.
a lot of that black male vote stuff is mainly younger black males. And those are the ones that are, like MD would say, low informational Kev. And those that don't do at least some of the work. Now I've heard people say, hey, they work 60 hours in a week. They ain't got time to find out. I work a lot of hours too, but
Oh nah.
I mean,
I literally live in my truck. I ain't. What's my excuse?
I have a totally different view when he's talking about young black men. If you want to talk
go
about
ahead.
young black men, make that switch because that's a totally different reason why they don't vote. They don't vote because they're idiots who are raised in a society that makes them believe that racism don't really exist. They're the
You're
idiots
right.
who walk around and let their white friends call them nigga because it's funny. They're the ones who go, oh, what are you talking about? Black women? They're too loud. I'm not talking to them. They're the ones that black women are actually mad at. They just blame all of us. It's them. They're the horrible ones that go, what? I'll get my MAGA hat on. It's a goof. Who cares? Ha ha ha. They're the ones who were raised in a society where they think, oh, if I just smile at the officer, nothing's gonna happen until they get shot. That's who they are. I don't deal with them. I don't deal with them. They're not my people, but I have to vote with them because they're black. But that's about it. That's all I got. I don't like.
Yeah.
That's why I argue with Kevin the majority of the time. You hear how Kevin talks, right? You hear how Kevin talks. No, y'all laughing. I'm being dead serious. Yo, Kevin is my bro, and I love Kevin. I love Kevin
Yeah.
to the death. Like he's the only person on any show that I'm on that I'm actually gonna see this week. But I'm
Yes.
telling you, he has a skewed view of the world. He is, and it comes off as self-hating, and you can't convince him otherwise because he's grown up in a world with nothing but anti-black propaganda. Nothing but the 6 white men that own all the news organizations have pumped and pushed that niggas are shit. Niggas do this, and you can't have and Chris Rock, you can't have a discotheque open for more than 3 days. Niggas are there. Niggas are this, and niggas are. That's all he knows. He doesn't understand. Like every time I try to explain white supremacy to him, all he can say is, well, the white guy that lives down the block, he's poor like me. That's not white supremacy. And every time I try to explain it, he'll get it in the moment, but then he'll go in the world and go right back to the bullshit because that's all they know. They'll
Right.
never, the Democrats lost them a long time ago because they felt like they had black people and they were losing black
That's a
people
good
after Clinton.
that's a good overall explanation of what's going on. I can see that. I can see that. I can vividly see that.
Oh, hold on. And Maria G, no, he's not trolling. I know Kevin in real life. I have conversations with Kevin in real life, off camera, off the pod. Kevin believes that dumb shit. He might embellish it a little bit for the show just to piss me off, but I am telling you, he believes that shit. He really don't like niggas. I'm trying to tell you. I wish he's supposed to be listening today and be on the show. I'm telling you, that's how he feels.
All right. So real quick, since Yanga's back on there, we'll go to Yanga and then we'll go to Ricardo.
All right, I'm gonna get
Yanga.
off because I feel like I've been taking up too much air, and I
No,
need MD to go
don't
off.
go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We got a lot of stuff here. We got a lot of stuff, Mike. Don't go
Y'all got to
anywhere.
give MD time to breathe because he's highly going, and he ain't getting his time to shine.
No.
Nah, it's all good. It's gonna happen anyway, so I ain't worried about it.
Leon twin.
All right, so let's go to Yanga real quick. Yanga, what are your thoughts here on what we're discussing?
Oh man, and I was driving, so some of it I had to drop out when I dropped off the line. Some of what I've heard about, and if there's any particular thing you want me to touch on, I think that we share the same sentiments. Like the Democratic Party has taken Black people for granted. I think that it was apparent. Everyone's hitting on those obvious points. Black women, when here's an opportunity to bridge the gap and the communication problem and the social cultural misunderstanding between Black men and Black women, instead of Black women really taking the opportunity and saying, hey, what the fuck's going on? They jumped on the bandwagon of everybody else and began to bash and dump on the Black man. I think I heard someone earlier talk about their allies. You don't bash these white women. You don't bash the Arabs. We went out there, we Palestined out for the damn Arabs, and the Arabs went and supported Trump. Not that I was against Trump or for now point. So all of these people, segments of the Hispanic community, and I say segments of the Hispanic community because I one thing that I do have to say, that Hispanic is generic. There's no such shit as Hispanic. So we're talking about different Latino people here. El Salvadorians, Mexicans, Venezuelans. So all of these type of things. I'm sorry.
I said the DR folks as well.
DR, Cuba. I mean, it's diverse. So Hispanic is very generic. Huh?
Same thing with Black people.
Absolutely. It's the same thing with us, but they don't, since we live in America, which they run you like you're talking about that white supremacy, Mike, the whole false racial construct to put human beings in categories is bullshit, but we live in America, and I don't care, it's bullshit, it's what the white man made up. The reality of it is that he has the institutions to enforce his bullshit.
Agreed.
So, we have to begin to address the problems like that. So to go back again without being long-winded and redundant, man, I just think Black women are blowing an opportunity to really bridge this gap that they exacerbating the gender divide between us. I think that a lot of it is very feminist. I keep hearing, even on this show and everywhere I hear, the black woman, and not Black people. And if the Black woman doesn't see that in this Kamala Harris person, the very fact what I keep harping on, that she has a white man, that's a big fat fuck you to Negroes, where do we see ourselves in this future America that everybody's hollering the Black man sold people out for? What platform? No one has told me why I should have voted for Kamala. I'm one of the 15 million, by the way. I was fuck all.
Oh, I knew.
You knew it. So nobody told me why I should have voted for Kamala. Like, I'm not with that just a Black woman that's arguable. That's still questionable. AKA ski weed and an HBCU doesn't make you Black to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure out what was the incentive. So if some of us was like, and I'm tired of the demonizing of brothers. Oh, they in jail, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Some of us was like, fuck it, there is no lessons are too evil. We feel like we don't see ourselves in any future America with any of these presidents. And the only reason I probably didn't vote Trump is because I didn't want to hear my mama's damn mouth probably, or, people's mouth.
Okay, so Yanga, so what does Trump offer you that's the Democrats are not offering?
I look at certain things with the economy, certain shit that he's talking about.
What economy? When Donald Trump left office, at the beginning of 2020, January 2020, he had only made 6 million jobs. Right now, currently, Joe Biden is at almost 17 million. So by the end of 2020 and the end of his term, he left the White House with negative over 400 million jobs. Negative.
I'm going to be honest, and I hope that this doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, especially I know I'm on the show with a lot of immigrants, descendants of immigrants. But I think that that's going to, I don't, in his first term, I don't think that that was really addressed. I really think that is a big problem for the Black community, the immigration problem. And I'm torn between it because I'm not really talking about my Black brothers and sisters. You know, I'm in my little racist shit with that, you know, but I know I can't be selective. But I think that that's going to be a big boom for Black people, especially in Chicago, and the job market for Black people. Honestly, I'm just going to keep it real. I was feeling him when he was saying those second chance jobs or Black people's jobs, which are essentially second chance jobs for felons.
You were okay with him saying Black jobs?
Yeah, because I knew what he was talking about.
It sounds like what he's talking about is sweeping the floor.
Basically
being a valet.
Basically, he is.
That's not going to fly for me, man. I'm sorry.
That's part of the issue.
Hold on, hear me out.
There's no limit to what you should be able to do in life.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm not sensitive to that, because I seen the truth in that. There are people out there that have they are convicted felons. There are things out there called second chance jobs. And you have a lot of the migrant workers getting the second chance jobs. Nobody wants to sweep the floor, but he knows the condition of America. I don't look for Donald Trump to be my friend. I think we got into that, these races. I heard fear politics. I didn't hear anything really. I mean, I heard people trying to say what's going to set Black people back and this and that. I really didn't buy into it. What I do see is I believe in the domestication of Black people. I believe Black people have been domesticated. So when Black people are crying about cutting government programs and things of that nature, then you're really crying about cutting shit that incentivizes Black women not to fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? When you talking about cut, they're gonna cut. When our sisters are hounding about they're gonna cut the programs and this and that, basically you're saying because the programs only.
But why is it that programs that are designed or made to help people that don't make a lot of money somehow is looked upon? You got to put your head down. You got to be embarrassed. There's a stigma. There's a stigma behind it. But what about the corporate welfare and all the Walmart? Walmart gets away with murder every year.
It's not about the embarrassment. There is no shame in either. It's about the stipulations that go with getting the stipends, the government subsidiaries. It's about you can't be married if you're in a house with this much. So I can't eat if I want a life partner. I can't eat if I want to establish Black family. There's no anything to, like I said, incentivize Black people to begin to create Black families from the government. They're going to cut their support drastically. And so I have a problem with the domestication of Black people so much that we're not seeing that, and we're worried about this cracker cutting support, this and that. Only thing it's going to do, not the only thing, one of the things it's going to do is, and it's unfortunate that it takes these type of conditions to do this, but begin to make us have the hard conversation, redefine Black family, and try to put it back together, especially in the Black community. I salute a lot of the immigrants because y'all don't face a lot of these problems. A lot of y'all parents are still together. So there's this, so there's not a lot of initiative or, this destruction of Black family, probably some of it may be foreign to outsiders.
Okay, so
I don't get that. I mean, so essentially, neocon strategies are beneficial for Black people. That's basically what you just said, Gang. And that's cool if you got that position. That's cool.
You said what strategy?
Neoconservative strategies are beneficial toward Black people. That's what you just said. Because your whole spiel about the state of the welfare system and how it disproportionately affected Black men, hey, I agree. But that's going to be gone from the wayside because it won't be no more welfare. after the
Exactly.
Trump administration get rid of it. That's fine. We shouldn't be in no position at all to have to say, hey, look, we need to ask the hard questions as it pertains to the family. We are American. I'm talking about me and you, Yankees, and Van Cat by proxy. We
Yeah.
are American
Yeah.
at the end of the day. We are the foundation of what rights are in this country. Would you not agree with that?
I would agree.
I'm
Okay,
American. I
so
was
cool.
born here.
So why are we? And I'm not saying that you can't have no position. You know I'm just trolling, Mike. But you can't say that I can't have a position of civil liberties and rights as an individual to garner said foundation for the family. That's not a necessity to be an American. Why?
But
Why
you,
should? Why should I
but
have to
MD,
concern? Go
yeah,
ahead.
because that's where we disagree. I believe there's two Americas. I don't believe in that we American stuff. Yes, I'm an American, but I'm an African in America or Black American or melanated American, whatever the fuck. There is a prefix to what I am. You know what I'm saying? And even if we can disillusion ourselves, American, I'm American, but the institutions, the sentiment of America, hell, the way they voted shows that Negroes will still only be disillusional. They're still too American. We can wish that shit. I wish for $1 million. It don't mean it's in my pocket right now. There are two Americas that exist. And if we
So
don't
how the
realize
family gonna bolster it though? How a family gonna do that?
you said what?
How is a family gonna bolster that position? How?
Because the
If
black family,
it's
I
damned if
tell
you're an
you how.
individual, how is it not damned as family?
Because the black family will begin to get us once you get back in your rights. They can see our culture's off. Culture dictates socialization. Socialization dictates politics. Politics dictates institutions. Our culture
You're right,
and our
and I
socialization.
don't want no socialization at all. So you're right on that.
Well, you got socialization. You
I
socialize
know,
every
I know,
day, bro.
I don't,
You,
I don't.
you
So
socialize every day, MD.
socialization is not being social. There's two different things, Van Cat.
I'm
I
not
mean, not
talking
damn,
about a
not Van Cat, not Yankee.
no, MD. No, MD. I didn't say a socialist state. Don't try to, don't, this
No,
ain't black
that's
channel.
not what I said, Yankee.
I'm
That's
talking
not what I
about
said. I said
socialism.
socialization. Socialization is a perception. That's what that is.
Look up
I
socialism.
don't
What
have
is the definition of socialization? You're going to make me look it up. What's the definition of socializing?
socialization meaning the perception of the collective as a whole. There's a
Exactly.
collective. There's one.
Exactly.
The
By
collective don't
what?
define you. The collective don't define me. The collective don't define no damn
The
body else.
collective, the collective, MD, the collective don't have to decide us. Socially, there's a certain culture that we've embraced just being black. When you get pulled over, brother, you do everything. You don't get pulled over like a white man. You don't get discriminated. When you go in places undiscriminated against, you may handle it differently. You may overlook the discrimination, but your treatment to white America is different. If you don't believe that, then this conversation, there's no point even going further in the conversation.
I didn't say I didn't believe it, but I'm saying that socialization that you're referring to, it has a shield. It's called the United States Constitution. We don't even know that, Younger. We don't know it. Let's keep it real.
MD. Now we've had this conversation before, and I
We
applaud you.
have.
You sound like the Moors. I applaud you.
Man,
Anytime
hey,
you
get out of
go
here with
to,
that.
let me say this. Let me say that because you guys want to go to criminals with a piece of paper. Money is power. Social collectiveness is power. You can go in there and try to fight for that, and you still will be doing the same shit we've been doing since before civil rights. When are you gonna switch the game up? Didn't they show you
Yeah,
that the
I done
civil
had this
rights man?
conversation with you 100 times, Jay. I'm not telling you that you can't collectively garner a position. That's not socialization. Let's go back to the word. Socialization is not none of the stuff that you're talking about.
What is
Socialization is the
socialization?
actual perception. No matter how much political or financial power that you get as a collective, them white folks, quote unquote, that you speak about, still gonna look at you as a nigga. Now they position from a hierarchy
100.
standpoint might change, but they still gonna look at you as a nigga. That's the perception. That's
Yep.
socialization.
Exactly. But here's why we have social cultural power. They can look at me as a nigga, call me a nigga. Guess what? I ain't got to spend a fucking dollar with them.
But
That's
that's
socioeconomic.
not what you
So what I'm saying
that's
is
not what you
this.
define though.
But what I'm saying is
That's not
because
what you define. I agree with that.
So this is what I'm saying. Hold on, I got my sister looking up socialization, socialized socialization. Socialization, okay, is the process which people learn the values, norms, and behaviors of a society or group and how they act in a way that is approved by them. I guess we're basically saying the same thing. Socialization. So that's what I'm saying. We have social power. We have to control, this thinking that we're American and still relying on and believing in American politics, you see where that has gotten us. It's only divided us more. Black women mad at black men. When we vote according to our group and collective, this individual, I'm an American and shit like that doesn't work for us. And we haven't seen it yet.
But Yanga, don't you think that things got better for blacks when they started voting with the Voting Right Act? That was, you could see progress for Black Americans versus the past. The past, they were frigged up. At least now we've grown into a certain place. Things may not go perfectly the way we want it to, but you cannot say that blacks voting is a problem. It would be a solution. And when people don't vote, that just slows the process.
I don't think it's a problem. I think the problem comes when I'm a revolutionary black nationalist, so I have to spit my spill. I think the problem comes when we think our salvation lies in that. I think that's where the problem comes. I believe in radical reform. I believe in addressing laws and policies, definitely demanding justice and pushing the government to where we're at now, to where it's
But that's work. That's called work, though, Yanga. That's work. Niggas don't want to do no work.
What we gotta do, though, MD. We know we gotta work.
Well, we don't want to. We don't want to call with that. Based on what just happened last Tuesday, no work is being put into play, including yourself, because you just said you didn't know. So we can talk all this good stuff we want to. At the end of the day, if we not mobilize with individual interests as it pertains to what we have in common as a people, none of the shit we saying mean nothing at all. So everybody battling, everybody. At the end of the day,
man,
when I'm telling you from a black perspective,
the Arabs didn't show you that. The Arabs didn't show you that we went out there in mass. The Arabs voted. The Arabs went for the Arabs' best interests. Everybody's not family, bro.
To hell with the Arabs. They only 0.1%. I ain't worried about their vote. They minuscule to me. I don't care.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're trying to what you're doing is making the black vote minuscule by talking to this individual politics. If we don't move collectively as a block in some kind, or at least have a discussion, we may not all vote the same way, but at least know what our concerns is as a people. This not having our own concerns as black people and adopting America's concerns as ours, all their concerns as ours, is bullshit.
I agree with you on that, Yankee. But what I'm telling you is the goal at the end of the day is to achieve that American, what everybody want to say, except I don't say that, exceptionalism, by way of garnering certain liberties and rights that we need to have to achieve that goal. That's why I'm a reparationist, Yankee. I collectively get with other black people to garner a political position as it pertains to reparations and do it the right way. But as I always say, once you get
goodbye to those rights.
It's a wrap. But as it pertains to the goal is individual. It don't matter what you say at that point. The goal is always going to be individual because your money is not my money. But I know you want to move on, Vacay. I know you want to move on.
Yeah, I just want to pivot to another topic that I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about. It's Nick Fuentes. I wonder if you guys saw that video.
Yeah, I did. Okay, hey, one more thing real quick before you move on, Vacay. And Yanga, don't come to me with after the goal is collective communalism, blah, 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 this and that. Communalism is the reason that we in America right now. I'm going to just leave it at that. We'll talk about it later.
What's the reason you said?
Communalism.
Communalism?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know how much, but that was just a way of our life. Some tribes practice communalism, and so that was just a way of life. What I'm saying is that individual shit you talking about is escapism. You can't run from this nigga shit, MD.
We'll talk about it later. Let's let that cat move on. Let's let him move on.
Oh man. All right, all right. Let's check this video out, and then we'll get everyone's on the panel's viewpoint. We'll start with Ricardo. Let's go on the other end of this, and we'll be right back.
Sure, by now you've all heard about or you've seen the video posted by self-described white nationalist Nick Fuentes, real scum of the earth. If not, take a look.
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
And for those who don't know, or maybe you don't remember, this is the same guy who went and had dinner with Trump and Kanye West at Mar-a-Lago, not that long ago. This is who Trump hangs out with. But please do tell me again how Trump is going to protect women, quote unquote.
About 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. I said, why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said... They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots of other things. Remember,
words are now being used to taunt and threaten women and little girls. And they're using it to threaten them with rape. So there's this piece of scum, this piece of shit, whose Twitter profile says that he's a quote unquote fair and balanced political commentator. So for those listening on the podcast, his name is John Miller. And in response to women saying, oh, we'll just stop giving men sex. If you're going to have a national abortion ban enacted, we'll just stop. We won't have sex with you. We won't date you. So Miller, as you see here, wrote, quote, women threatening sex strikes like LMAO as if you have a say. So threatening rape, it sounds like. And there was this post on Twitter. This is by a man named, and I use that term very loosely, Evan Kilgore. Kilgore, by the way, he's an ambassador to Turning Point USA. So that is the group that was founded by the other MAGA psycho, Charlie Kirk. For those listening, the post says, quote, women back to the kitchen, abortions illegal, gays back in the closet, interracial marriage banned, illegals pack your bags, trannies back to the asylums, Jesus back in our schools. We are so back. So this is what Donald Trump brings out.
A new and disturbing analysis shows attacks against women have surged on social media in the days following Donald Trump's election win. Hateful and sexist phrases like your body, my choice, and get back to the kitchen are getting millions of clicks online. White nationalist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes posted your body, my choice forever on election night. It's been viewed more than 90 million times. So does this abuse amount to right-wingers just indulging in online trolling, or is it a glimpse into a deeper sexism in this country?
All right, there we go. Since the election, some Republicans have been doing victory laps. Ricardo, what do you think about that video we just saw? There's a lot there. The whole notion of women withholding sex if they don't have control over their body. The thing that Donald Trump said, he's going to protect women whether they like it or not. Nick Fuentes and his statements. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't even know how how do I start with this? All right, so it's not surprising to me the way the context of how they're these people are going on and on about how they're excited, especially that particular guy, the Fuentes guy, dude. Like really, but it doesn't really like nothing surprises me anymore. I think that's I've grown accustomed to the madness. It's crazy. Um, but this is how their thought process is. Most of the majority of these crazy folks is what their thought process is. It reminds me of that there's another Hispanic guy today that claims he voted. He's a stark MAGA supporter, and lo and behold, I guess the neighbor. I don't know if you guys saw it. There's a neighbor that he has that's also a MAGA. The neighbor is white and he's Hispanic, and for some reason his kids were playing with the other guy's kids, and lo and behold, the other guy was like, "Yo, I don't want your kids playing with my kids. You need to be deported and sent back to wherever you came from." And he got in a fit online, like it's how dare you say this to me? I've been a huge Trump supporter, and everybody was like, "Well, what did you expect? Like, you know,
He
we
got
don't."
his wake up call.
Yeah, like what now you know what it feels like. So it's like I don't feel sorry for you. But this is the thought process behind some of these folks. Like the way they think it's not surprising to me, but then it should be a wake up call of what they really want coming. It's hilarious that homeboy in one of the things said that he's trying to ban interracial marriage. You will never ban interracial marriage, not especially now. Like I know that's their biggest fear in their minds is that everything is being diluted and whatnot. That's y'all fault because y'all will forever be obsessed with BBCs. So I mean, whether it be a man or a woman, they forever fetishize black men and their dicks. So what for whatever the reason, y'all will never get rid of interracial marriages or people intermingling. It just that's just a farce to me. That just sounds stupid. But they want to bring back I guess religion in school and they want to bring back taking out Xmas and putting back Christ and all that. None of this surprised me. It's like the evangelicals on overload, and y'all know how I feel about them. You know what I'm saying? Like they come up with a whole bunch of crap sometimes it don't even make sense. That it's like, okay, but you claim you're Christian, but then you're doing a whole complete 360 when it comes to a guy that is a complete adulterer and all that. But again, this is the Republican Party, the conservatives, some of them on their part forever claim that they're for family values, but then are the most horniest, freakiest set of people you'll ever meet because they do the most, benign, disgusting things and then act like, oh my God, we're not, they know we're so innocent. Please get out of here with that bullcrap. But like I said, nothing surprises me. It's just the thought process behind, the agenda that they're trying to push going forward should not surprise anybody. Let's see if they're going to get most of these stuff accomplished. I doubt some of them will go through, but for the majority part, if it's looking like how we're looking, because like MD mentioned, we still have to count California. I don't know if it's going to be a complete House, Senate, and complete red wave. We don't know yet. But if he gets his agenda, then they're going to push Project 2025. Then it is what it is. I don't know what else to say. I mean, does it surprise y'all? It shouldn't surprise y'all because this has been the talking point all along for most of the majority of the people that was in the cult following. So, I mean, let it burn down, like my twin says. That burn it all down at this point.
All right, so let's get Murr. Mike, you're up.
I'm sorry, I wasn't used to you saying my name right. Uh, Hey, I'm not even gonna take too long on this because my twin was wonderful what he said, and for people that don't know, he's the newest addition to the Murr family. My Murr twin, uh, Captain Hee Hee. I don't understand why people are like flummoxed. I don't understand. Like this is who they've always been. There's a reason I say it's gonna burn to the ground because white people or white supremacists don't understand that they need us. They need us. Without us, what they do doesn't work. Because if there's no us, they have to put somebody else in that position, and that's going to cause, who are they going to put down there? Jews. They can't put the Jews down there because they need Christ. The only reason they care about the Jews is because they really believe Jesus is going to come back, and they need the Jews to hold Jerusalem for Jesus to come back. That's the only reason they back the Israel and the Jews the way they do. They need all the rest of these people that have assimilated to white or have tried to assimilate to white. They all need us. The second we're not here, you Latinos and you Jews jump down to the bottom, and you'll see. But blacks who think this is new, this is what it's always been. I tell them all the time. I use the analogy when I say that I have white friends who say, I've never seen police angry. And I tell them, you've always been white. You'll never see that type of cop because you've always been white. These
Big
people,
Mike.
you feel me? I don't understand why people are so confused. This is who they've always been. They're just showing you more of it now because this is their time.
They're
Let them
emboldened.
shine.
Yep.
Let them,
Yep.
yeah, let them do that. And no real black person saw this and was offended. They
Nope.
looked and was like, "Oh, Nick from marketing is finally getting to say what he always thought." This ain't nothing new to me. This ain't nothing new to me. All them young black dudes who go, "Ooh, I love Charlene because she really cares about me." This is how she really feel. She just want that nigga dick. It's all the same. I don't understand why y'all confused. This world is burning to the ground. This is revelation. Just come join Team Mur so you can at least be right while it burns down. So you can sit up top in your hammock with me and point at all the imbeciles who thought they were making a change. This is the world. I say it every show. I'm going to say it one time now. What country did you think you lived in?
Come on.
This is what it's always been. And I'm done.
All right, so let's go to Yanga now.
All I have to say is amen. Amen.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
We got room for you on the Mur team.
I mean, it's, everyone's acting surprised. The only thing that has happened is political correctness has been done away with, and that's refreshing. If you ask me, the false nicety and all of that shit, there's, I knew Kamala wasn't going to win just from the sentiment of white America. White men have never liked women. They don't like their women. They let Negroes vote before they let their women vote. You know what I'm saying? So they're not ready. I don't care how much we wanted it or whatever. They weren't going to allow. We have to understand this shit goes deeper than politics. It's about their very genetic makeup.
I agree.
And until we understand their cultural understanding and their Eurocentricity is what it's called, MD. When we understand Eurocentricity, really, there's a great book called Yurugu we need to check out and understand this is just their makeup. And their politics are going to reflect their fucking cultural understanding. And like we're saying, they're socializing. Their politics are going to reflect that. Until we start addressing politics that affect us as a people, not individually. Because America wasn't founded on black individualism. So there's no way all of a sudden we can just create this new narrative. If we're going to create a new narrative, we have to come out of the old one and understand what the inception of America was founded on. And one of the things it was founded on, one of the crimes it was founded on was the enslavement of human beings. And so a whole system was developed off that. Capitalism, not to be long-winded, capitalism is about the exploitation of a class of people. Why we have felonies and parole and poor schools in our communities to ensure that we stay on a certain class, that we keep certain jobs, and that's how capitalism is run. They have to have an exploited class, and Negroes were waking up and demanding their rights. They were doing, like you said, MD, demanding, okay, if we're in America, we pay taxes, we want the same privileges, and America's like, fuck that, you have always been a nigger, we will bring in a new minority. And the Democrats tried to do it. The whole voter ID shit. Oh, they make it hard for black people because black people, getting ID. Niggas that's the first thing y'all ask us for is ID. Every nigga I know got ID. We'll pull out a school ID on your ass, school ID. So it wasn't to ID for black people. It was to get people in who couldn't get IDs. It was to get migrant people in to vote. The Democratic Party tried to booster their ranks by other people. They've been shitting on black people, and we still will yell at each other and fool ourselves to thinking there's some dream to be had by, I ain't saying, but we must participate in this because it participates with us. They're taxing us. We're subjugated to their laws, but by believing that our salvation will be the reform of America. I just don't believe that. So that's my whole thing. So like you said, Nick from marketing, him saying that, okay, Cracker's been saying it since we've been here. It's just now the gloves are off and they can say it on social media and all this stuff and not have as much backlash. But you still got liberal media that's going to try to balance that shit. So you got the far right and the far left going at it. What the hell are we going to do?
All right, thanks, Yanga. So we got MD. MD, your thoughts here on this?
We gonna do nothing.
It's my turn.
Yes, it is your
Hey,
turn.
hey, by the way, Yanga, it sounds like you want to debate. I'm willing to go. Hey, my gloves are off at this point. You want to debate? Let's debate.
I'm here
Cause
for it.
you took some shots, but hey, it's all good. You my brother, and I love you. And Black Power.
I love you too, bro.
So that's what it is. So let me get to Van Cat. Van Cat, I respect you, bro. You know what you do over here at TFP, you do extraordinary work. But you just fell right into the play, hook, line, and sinker, and all three of the rest of y'all acquiesce. Van Cat, we just got finished up here and saying. First of all, let me say Nick Fuentes is a troll. Why anybody taking him for face value? I don't know. I have no idea. The lady that was responding to the video did exactly what lost Kamala Harris to debate. Exactly. And you played it for all the listening viewer audience to see. That's what you did. All across this country, Van Cat, all across, you know this, except for Weirdo, Florida, all across, sweeping ballot measures for abortion. Why are we having this discussion? Why? Like, what are we doing, Van Cat? Please, what are we doing?
Yeah.
The very same, the commentators are the people that lost Kamala Harris to debate, is what I'm telling you. Because they choose to acquiesce opposition opinion based on what a troll just said on social media. The MAGA maniacs listen to the troll because it's confirmation bias of a racism, misogyny, etc., etc. Who gives a damn if we know from a constitutional standpoint that people in a progressive nature just voted abortion state by state? Why are we doing this? See, and I knew this was going to be this type of show. That's why I told you, Van Cat. I told you. Look, I'm not taking no bullshit tonight. I'm not doing it. We need to speak as to why this happened and what we need to do to not make it happen again. And damn it, you dropped the ball, Van Cat. You dropped it. because you played that video which just insurmountably stated the reason why the Democrats lost. Anybody that takes Nick Fuentes serious is part of the problem. That's just a whole fact.
I don't think anybody's taking him serious. What I do think is that notion is not a one person notion. That's not
nobody's disagreeing with that. I'm not saying that.
All right, then. So if that's the case,
go ahead.
If that's the case, then you're evaluating and talking about that mindset, and that mindset is also in women. That mindset, that's a subservient woman that just Hillary Clinton saw it before she became a candidate. I saw a documentary of Hillary Clinton, and in that documentary, there were people from the South, white women from the South, saying pretty much she's uppity, thinking she could outshine her man, and she needs to know her place.
But
go ahead.
Not to interrupt, but those same women were the same women that were upset with Hillary on account of when the Monica Lewinsky thing came out. They were like, "How dare she stay with Bill? She should have divorced his ass." And You know when
That's because people are fickle, Ricardo. They fickle.
and that's
We know
Exactly.
this.
Exactly.
so I'm like,
We know
Exactly.
this. So why are we fighting so hard to explain a position? There is no position. People are stupid as hell. That's the position. And
Sounds
we
like
and
Mike
we
is
gotta
right
we
too.
gotta take hold
I
of
get
that.
that point.
Facts.
We gotta take
Facts.
hold of it. We gotta get out of this social book. This is why I am the individualist, because I understand that these social change that we are bound to, despite whether you think it's good or bad, I don't give a damn. I'm telling you, the perception is not what it is on face value. I don't care how much of a moral compass you think you have. It's all
So so
bullshit at
M,
the end of the day when the rubber hit the road.
so MD. So at this point, ever since Trump came on the political scene, a lot of changes have happened. So now we're in a world where facts don't matter. We're in a world where things that would be perceived as bad or problematic is no more. So you have now a first time ever a sitting president that has a convicted record now. And at the same time, and that's the highest job in the land. And if I want to wash dishes or if I want to be a cashier somewhere and I have a conviction on my record, I know I'm not going to get a job most times often. And when I just got out of prison, now I got to go continue to do more crimes to feed myself and family because I have no options. So these issues are just there, and they need to be examined. So you can't just say that. Okay, go ahead. MD, you there? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I guess we lost MD then. Well, what I wanted to say is pretty much it's too easy to say that these issues need to be pushed to the side and whatnot. I'm sorry, but what's wrong is wrong, and you just don't sit there and just like don't bat an eye to everything. Because if everything everywhere don't matter at any time until it matters to your life, that's a problem. Because you're promoting a problematic environment. So I don't know. I just don't see everything will have an end to it when it goes way over the top. Clearly, because of this election, we're not fully there yet. I thought that election would have provided that door for the MAGA maniacs to slam into, but that didn't happen. So this country needs more strife and hardship to realize what we're doing here. So we're going to
Yeah, yeah,
continue on.
yeah.
Go
My
ahead,
bad.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
MD.
I got a call. I missed a lot of what you were saying, but
Oh,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with what you say. I heard the premise in the beginning, but again, the retort that young lady displayed in that video responding to Nick Fuentes is part of the problem as well. That's just a fact, Venkat. You can't get around it.
right. Maybe her her presentation and demeanor to it. I could see
And and,
that being
and
problematic too. I can see that.
that's part of the reasoning behind Kamala Harris losing. Look, people like me, you, and some of the other social media commentators are tired of. It's like we a rat in the corner about to get hit with the broom, and we keep explaining to people that are ill informed, ignorant, some right down dumb about policies that pertain to the specific issues in which they're talking about. We tired of it, man.
But
Nobody's listening. Nobody.
But to add to your point, though, MD, I think most people the day after the election had voting post-mortem. So it's like you if you
Yeah,
notice,
there were a
there are
lot of
a lot
people that regretted.
because
There
the
were a
thing
lot of people.
and they kept saying this the whole time on TFP. Do your homework. A lot of people just went with the narrative of, okay, well, I'm just listening to because it sounds good and it's just based on what they're saying. But then when they realize in context of what it was that they did, they're like, oh, can we re-vote again? No, you only vote every 4 years. Like, did you not realize this is the whole thing that you have to do? It's a civic duty that you have. Like, I'm gonna emphasize it's a civic duty. Yes, you don't have to, but it's on you for you to do it. Like you could take the day off from work and go vote. It's up to you. You had plenty of time to vote. This idea of people going, oh, I'm still undecided up until the last minute is bullcrap. You had a whole freaking year, because we literally knew from the onset of January up until now to the end of the election. Mind you, it was Biden, but he stepped out when midsummer ish, somewhere along that lines, and it still was Kamala there the whole time. So I don't understand this notion of, oh, well, I don't know who I'm going to be voting for up until the last minute of elections. Bullcrap. You knew you they can't explain, they can't show them their cards any more than how they showed them. It's literally what you get is what you got. We knew how Donald Trump was from COVID till now. So the idea of, oh, but I didn't know, it's bullcrap, people. Y'all out there who, the 50 million that didn't vote, y'all saw pretty much a whole plethora of things. But I digress. Maybe there's something that we missed. Maybe the regular voters that voted was optimistic. I don't know. But it baffles me that up until this point now, we're here at this point. So like MD says, how do we fix this going forward? Because we have 2 years until midterm. How do they fix this? Because it looks like at this point, they're going to get the House and Senate, and that's literally blazing fires on steroids when it comes to
It's over. It's over.
Like that should, and not to mention MD, and sorry to take up most of the time, Venkat. Do you feel that Clarence and what's his name is going to retire at
Oh, they are.
Of course.
And
They would be stupid not to.
they're going to retire, and Sotomayor dumbass is going to die.
And that's
It's going to be RBG 2.0 all over again.
Yep.
She walking around right now with a CPA. Right now.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Why did they even? She was put on the court like 4 years ago. Why the hell was she picked?
Because
right now she's walking around with a man.
Obama
voters are idiots. I keep saying it, and y'all act like y'all don't hear me. They're all morons. Nobody has.
Damn, not a CPA, my man. That's an accountant. You know what I mean? Whatever they damn call.
Yeah,
everybody.
She walked around with one of them.
Everybody on this panel has had better ideas of how to get votes and how to get people elected than the DNC. Everybody.
This is crazy to me. So we're literally gonna watch Trump go ahead and appoint 2 more new appointees.
Three. It's gonna be 3, Ricardo. 3.
Because based on what they're saying, this is serious when it comes to Sotomayor diabetes. It's up there. Like, she knew, but she didn't want to disclose it. And so now we're at that point now where they're telling her step down, or basically, Biden, you have 98 days left. Take her down and put somebody. Heck, you could put up Kamala.
She better get She better get into some intermittent fasting and then the keto diet, because if you got diabetes and you ain't controlling it.
She said,
get your sugar levels right.
Exactly.
Get your sugar levels. But it's not the Democrats. It's her. The report that I seen is that some Senate Democrats went to her and said, "Hey, look, would you please step down so we can hurry up in the lame duck session so Biden can appoint a new?" And she said no.
Yep. She said, I'm not going to do it. And that to me is another
Ginsburg, Beta Ginsburg, who's a jackass. Her whole legacy is frigged up because that one move. What a dumbass. Obama was telling her for years, I'm the president. You can step down. No, I need to go when we have the first woman. I want to be able to leave when they have the first woman president. Yeah, we get the hell out of here with that imaginary crap. It's destroyed everything. That whole thing took away Roe versus Wade, took away all these other things, and goddamn, more to come. More to come. Now, MD talked about, like what are the Democrats going to do? What analyzing what caused this? Well, there was somebody that was analyzing and giving points, and MD has some views on this person. Of course, Bernie Sanders, progressive from Vermont. Let's take a few minutes look at Bernie Sanders on one of the Sunday shows, one of the more known ones, Meet the Press, and then we'll have MD on the other end.
Senator Bernie Sanders issued a scathing statement after the vice president's loss in what he called a disastrous campaign, saying, quote, It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. And Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont joins me now. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here on this Sunday after Election Day. Let's start right there. Your criticism incredibly direct. You say you think the Democratic Party has, quote, abandoned the working class. How exactly do you think Democrats have abandoned the working class, Senator?
Look, the working people of this country are extremely angry. They have a right to be angry. In the richest country in the history of the world, today, the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and millions of families worry that their kids are actually going to have a lower standard of living than they do. You got the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 90%. We're the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all of our people. 25% of our seniors are trying to live on $15,000 a year or less. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. And the gap between the people on top and everybody else is getting wider and wider. And then, Kristen, on top of all of that, we got a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. So if you're an average worker out there, you're saying, hey, I'm working longer and longer hours, going nowhere in a hurry, worried about my kids, and yet the people on top have never had it so good. Where is the Democratic Party? Are they prepared to stand up to these powerful corporate interests, raise the minimum wage, fight for health care for all people, make sure that all of our kids get the quality education that they need, expand Social Security? Are they prepared to do those things? That's the issue that we have to address.
Well, as you know, your statement was met with some sharp reaction as well. This is what Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi had to say. Take a look. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him, for what he stands for, but I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Senator, how do you respond to Nancy Pelosi?
Well, Nancy's a friend of mine, and we've worked together on many issues. But here is the reality. I have to say to Nancy, in the Senate in the last 2 years, we have not even brought forth legislation to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, despite the fact that some 20 million people in this country are working for less than $15 an hour. In America today, we have not brought, in the Senate, we have not brought to the floor the PRO Act to make it easier for workers to join unions. We're not talking about defined benefit pension plans so that our elderly can retire with security. We're not talking about lifting the cap on Social Security so that we can extend the solvency of Social Security and raise benefits. Bottom line, if you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interests and fighting for you? I think the overwhelming answer is no, and that is what has got to change.
How much do you personally blame President Biden for this loss?
President Biden, when he came into office, said that he would be the most progressive president since FDR. And I think on domestic issues, not foreign policy, on domestic issues, he has kept his word, and the agenda that he has pushed through has been an extraordinarily strong one. But that agenda has got to be placed within the overall context of American society today. And that American society today is one in which tens of millions of working families and elderly people are struggling, while the people on top have never had it so good.
But, Senator, should he have gotten out of the race more quickly, as some are arguing?
I'm not going to. I supported him because I think his agenda was a strong agenda, a working class agenda. I'm not going to look backwards. Kamala ran a strong campaign. She did everything that she could. She decisively won the debate. So to me, it's not just about the campaign. It's about what does the Democratic Party stand for? Do ordinary people say, yeah, that is a party that is fighting for my interest and prepared to take on the big money interest who control the economic and political life of the country?
All right, there's Senator Bernie Sanders. All right, MD, what are your thoughts on what Bernie Sanders had to say there?
So let me say this first and foremost. I was riding with Bernie because he was one of the first, and I must give him credit on this. He was one of the first to urge Biden to stay in the race, and I rolled with him with that. We remember we were doing TFP when this all went down, and we were saying that we saw, like I say exclusively, basically me and Vancat, that we saw no reason for Biden to get out of the race. We delved into the substance of the debate and really didn't see no problem. If you want to argue the cognitive, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, at the end of the day, y'all could have rolled him out in the coffin, gave him a drop of virgin blood, tell him to sign the damn bill, and he can go back to sleep. That's where I was at that particular time. So kudos to Bernie for standing on principle as it pertains to that. Now, if we not just gonna sit here and see how he contradicted himself from the first half of the interview to the last,
Yes, we have. We have seen it.
man, let's keep it real at the end of the day, y'all. Bernie Sanders is a hot dog for the spotlight. That's what he is. A damn hot dog. And he like wagging his finger telling I told you so. And he knows point blank period that Biden, as it pertains to the initial policy factors of his administration, was the most progressive candidate in modern history post FDR. Everybody knows that. Biden was on the picket line. Biden saved the Teamsters pension. He did that. He didn't bring none of that shit up. So let's stop playing games with one another. At the end of the day, and this is why I'm going to go Black Power. At the end of the day, Bernie Sanders does not infer or does not intertwine social, I guess you would say, constraints as it pertains to the overall global not global, but American working plan. He think if you socialize it, you socialize all the racism away. You socialize all the misogyny away. He's a goddamn commie, is what he is. Because they thought the same thing. So I'm sick of all this, man. Like I said, I don't want to play identity politics. But damn it, I identify with it in the parameters of how we view all social bullshit. I do. I know that is there. But Bernie Sanders wants you to believe that classism overrules that. And I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. And that's just a fact. Now let's go into retrospect. When Build Back Better was put into place, he said it wasn't brought to the floor. You're lying, because it was brought to the floor, and Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin killed it. Joe Biden said, "Oh hey, not only that, but the extension of the child tax credit was there too, and other progressive measures within Build Back Better." What happened? Sinema and Joe Manchin killed it. Biden said, "Go ahead, right there."
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's what Bernie's point is. So they were playing politics with a lot of things. Sometimes politicians, they bring things to the floor to say they brought things and that they tried, knowing full well that it would get killed or that they would set it up to get killed. $15 minimum wage, that's the first thing Joe Biden took out of his legislation when he first started passing bills. He took $15 minimum wage right out. That was
it was in Build Back Better. It was in Build Back Better, correct. It was in Build Back Better, correct.
And he amazingly just said, "Oh, well, we'll negotiate $15 minimum wage out of it." He immediately put it up there.
Why did he do that, Vancat?
Because he was negotiating with Joe Manchin. However, there were ways around it. Also, what's messed up is there were 8 Democrats that voted against the $15 minimum wage. A few of those Democrats were linked to Joe Biden from his state and people that he worked with for decades. So
I don't disagree
that's
with
suspect. He told those guys to vote against it.
You're missing some context in that story you just did. And
Okay,
this
go
was
ahead.
going back to this is going back to Bernie. Biden was going to use the bully pulpit to oust Sinema and Manchin. Who told him to stop it, Venkat?
Don't even try,
I'm just
man.
saying.
Oh my God.
Bernie Sanders told him not to oust Sinema and Manchin because they needed them to caucus for the Democrats. He said it.
Okay, so think about it like this right now. Joe Manchin's seat was swallowed up by a Republican. So
But
Bernie Sanders is correct.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders is correct about that because
So Bernie Sanders don't stand on nothing then.
no, you at some level in politics, you got to get dirty. You can't walk through the mud in a white suit and not get some dirt on you. You got to get a little dirty in politics, and you got to
So why
do
are you blaming
things.
Biden?
Huh?
Why are you blaming Biden then?
Because Biden,
That's what he did.
Biden gleefully and woefully just took $15 minimum wage out. He took the negotiation of the $2,000 stimulus check, cut that junk down $600, and just without any much hesitation from the other side, he immediately went there. That's what's
But
suspect about it.
It was because of Manchin and Cinema. So
No, it's because he didn't believe in it. He did not want the $15 minimum wage.
That's BS, man.
Huh?
What was the point? What was the point of him using the bully pulpit? Why was he gonna do that? Why?
Yeah.
He did it because those were the people that were pushing back against him to negotiate. Those were the people. So why are we blaming Biden? Biden was gonna say, "Look, I'm about to go on press conferences and every speaking opportunity I get, I'm gonna talk shit about y'all." That's what Biden said. Bernie Sanders came in. No, don't do that. No, we need them to caucus for the Democrat. So he said, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." And the little that we got was based on that, and they had to extend it through the what do you call it? The COVID relief, the COVID relief, and all of that. The rescue plan and all of that stuff. So he did exactly what you just said, but you're not taking in consideration that because Bernie don't stand on nothing and he a hot dog, that he was the one that said Biden. He was the one that told Biden not to stand on it. He was the one that did it. Because Biden was about to stand on it. But he said, no, don't do it. Because those guys are going to start talking to Republicans if you do.
I don't think that Biden wanted to do $15 minimum wage. I don't think that he was in there. Not at all. Not at all. Look, Biden did a lot of great things, but everybody has something that isn't so great, and that was one. And now, if in retrospect, it would have been hard to say Democrats weren't doing anything for the regular man if $15 minimum wage was one of the initiatives he did, because you can say what you want to say about, oh, that doesn't affect me. I make more than $15 minimum wage. When your minimum wage goes up, it affects everybody. And also, the current minimum wage is at $7 and change. That's just ridiculous. So this idea and notion, and by the way, there are people making less than $15 right now. And there are jobs being posted right now that are less than $15. So if he would have done a $15 minimum wage, that would have been a big deal. That would have been the most it went up, and that would have been the first time it went up in over 11 years, which is ridiculous in itself. Actually, over 16 years, to be honest. So it shouldn't even have came down to that. The Democrats should have raised the minimum wage, especially in a pandemic where you had all this money issues, and especially when it led to inflation later on. You would want to have people making more money. That just was that was an easy layup. That was an easy layup. It had to go through
Congress, though, Biden can't do it by himself. He can't do it by himself.
I get that, but he could have done something better than just abandoning the plan. I think he could have worked a little hard. It was literally the first thing. Like, they went in there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, let's negotiate. And at 1:05, okay, for the 15 minute wage gone. It's just ridiculous. He just put it on the chopping block so quick. It's ridiculous.
It's because of certain people. And let me say this last thing.
Yeah.
I'll go as far as to say, hey, look, when it comes to what the Democratic Party needs to stand on, they need to pick a side. As you can see, it's an ongoing war right now between, I guess you would say, quote unquote, establishment Democrats and
Yes,
and
yes,
and lefter leaning Democrats. It's a war happening right now.
yes.
I'm saying I don't care who wins the war. I'm sitting here. I'm an observer. I don't care. But there needs to be a concrete policy position after the war is over. It needs to be. If not, we just gonna be doing the same thing over and over again.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Whether it's progressive leaning, whether it's more moderate, I don't give a damn at this point. It needs to be a solid foundation, though.
Yeah, they need to stop being moderate because that don't get you nowhere either. You end up getting your ass whooped. Putting Merrick Garland in there, a Republican, just so that we could be closer to the middle is ridiculous. You're friggin' Democrats. Go left on that. Matter of fact, if you fail, you should fail on your own account. You shouldn't fail trying to imposter and try to be like Kamala Harris. One of her big missteps, hanging out with Cheney. Like you could have a one event, but like to have so many and constantly talking about Cheney and oh my god, oh damn,
Right.
that was
Now,
horrible.
hey, at the end of the day, and I was one, and this made me look bad because I was one that's saying, hey, look, maybe this never Trumper thing is going somewhere. At least on face value, that's what it looked like.
Right, right, right.
In 2020, Trump got 90, 96, no, it was 95% of the Republican vote. This election, he got 96. His Republican shares increased. So what the hell was the never Trump Republicans doing?
I ain't got no answers for that one, man. That a lot fell off to the side, and it'll take some time for us to figure out what really happened. Something happened. Something happened, but we don't have all the answers right now in this current moment. That's for sure. Murr, what do you think about Bernie Sanders, sir?
You said me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hey man, this is gonna be real quick because I'm doing homework with my baby. Uh, I think Bernie is
The
100%
twins are
correct.
nowhere to be found.
What you said? You can't hear me, Cardi?
Twinster.
Van Cat, you don't hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yep.
hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I
I
think
didn't.
Ricardo breaking up. He breaking up on my
Oh,
end.
okay. All right. I'll put it like this. I I am a high level advocate of Bernie, even though he does do some missteps because he's bad at race. I think what he says makes all the sense in the world. I know MD don't feel that. I'm sorry, MD. I heard what you were saying. I get it. He's a little out of touch. I'll give you that. But that doesn't mean that what he's saying is wrong. And I'm not saying that you said that. I just the man the man understands old school politics. Now we're in a different time. There needs to be some adjustments. I don't think he can make those adjustments. And that's why he'll always be shunned. But there needs to be somebody that can bring the two together and take his legacy and move it on. I was hoping it was going to be AOC, but she's on some other stuff. But he's not a communist like MD said. He's not a communist. I understand that, democratic socialism, all people hear is Nazis because they want to act like they don't understand. But I refuse to believe that a wonderful minded political prophet, even though he's ultra black now, can understand all the political leanings that go on in our government, but he can't understand what Bernie's trying to say. He gets it. He gets it. He just doesn't want to get it because they don't like Bernie. And that's cool. But Bernie is the best chance the Democratic Party has at regaining any kind of glory that it might have thought it had. And they, instead of that, they just shun him and wonder why nothing ever works because they're idiots. I'm done.
All right, thanks, Murr. Um, Ricardo, what do you think about Bernie Sanders, him criticizing the Democratic Party?
I mean, he's not wrong in what he was saying in terms of, the critique of the party. But I think the problem with Bernie, for me, is that he's hearkening on those days where you will hear white folks go, oh, back in the golden days when we used to have this and the car used to be run like this and we just had the toaster being introduced to us, and it's like the nostalgia. I get it, but then you have to progress and move forward, which comes with incorporating everything else in between, and that's the issue that I think he's like he brought a whole bunch of valid points, but he left out certain things that, like, the main issue with most of the voters in this day and age is that some of them, and I hate to say it because I don't like using it most of the time, but it is true when Mir says white supremacy will always rule, because you have a certain set of people when they look now and say, oh, but that Negro is progressing and he's going forward, and how dare he speaks to me that certain way, and how dare he does this, and how it's like they can't look past the fact that certain things have progressed forward and certain things are going to be left behind. So it's now, that's why you see a whole plethora of people like came out of the woodworks, especially the people in the rural areas that like for instance, and MD could correct me if I'm wrong, those people who believe that manufacturing is coming back into this country, it ain't. Those people who believe that coal and those industries that were decimated how many years ago, like in the 80s, they ain't coming back. I mean, it's like, what are we? It's like an argument that's never gonna be coming into full circle here. I'm just like, I'm confused as to why we're still holding on to those talking points of, oh, the coal, and the only people that really use coals are the ones that like do barbecuing and all of that. But then do you use coal on a regular day-to-day basis? No. So this whole nostalgia of manufacturing and coal and how it used to be back in the day, and I get what he's saying, but then certain things you have to leave behind because you have to progress forward. But I digress. I meet him 50-50 in either cases. It's just, for me, Bernie brought up some points, but he left out certain points as well, which is my problem with Bernie sometimes. But he's in good conscience, not wrong in what he's trying to articulate. The other issue that I have as well, when you guys were bringing up the whole mention, thank God he's gone because he was irritating the crap out of me, was when Biden was like, all right, I'm going to get rid of the student loans. They all had a hissy fit because that was a talking point from AOC and Bernie. And he was like, yo, you want us to give you the vote, you got to get rid of the student loans and all this stuff. What Biden did was pussyfoot it out of the way. He literally was like, okay, well, I'm going to do certain things. No, get rid of it. This is where you see Trump is going to literally come in and do all his executive signing, because I felt like Biden would have like literally executive signed that crap out of the way. He didn't. He literally pussyfooted and then did this whole thing with Manchin and then incorporating the whole child tax thing, which still never went through because the Republicans were like, we're not going to sign in to give people free money to sit at home and do nothing. Meanwhile, there were really American families that were suffering at the time that needed the money. I know sure as hell it didn't bother me because it kind of hated me in some aspects. But it's like, really, this is what y'all are doing. It's the same thing what Mike was saying. I hate to say, I'm not going to say I hate to say it. I will say Mike is right when I say that the not Republicans, Democrats tend to really just do this whole, we're gonna be like wavering and be like in support, but really you're not doing that. Push the progressive talking points through and get the bill signed. Why are we doing this whole thing if we're going to incorporate the Republicans? They don't give a damn. They really didn't care at that point. So that, I mean, I get that point from Bernie. Whereas, why did we not get rid of the student loans? That was the talking point that Biden kept going on and on about, and he did nothing. Now we're doing bits and pieces, which is going to be pushed to the wayside now because now that Trump is coming in, you could kiss that goodbye. Like all these initiatives that he's pushing, if anybody didn't get their student loans canceled by now, kiss that goodbye because that's now to the wayside. Trump doesn't care for that. He doesn't care for that. He's gonna come in and get rid of OSHA. He's gonna come in and get if he doesn't get rid of OSHA, he's gonna trickle it down. There's certain things that you're gonna see them come in and do now, which we all knew the Democrats could have literally fixed, but didn't. And so what are we gonna do now? Filibuster and all this nonsense that
Little Timmy is gonna be working in the power plant. That's what's gonna happen. And he gonna get his fingers blown off. Hey, let me interject real quick because you said a great point, Ricardo, talking about Bernie and when as it pertains to job. He doesn't have a clear cut idea of you can say working class, working people all day long. He doesn't have an idea as it pertains to the broad economy of work. Working people is one thing. What about the work? He don't got no idea about that. I just put an article in the group chat earlier today. I hope you saw it, that cat. They were talking about Steve Madden, the shoe company. They said,
Yeah.
hey, look, Trump is finna get ready to put these tariffs. We getting the hell on. You had people all over Twitter. Oh, see, look, Trump's policies are taking effect. He ain't even in office yet. The dumbasses didn't read the article. In the article, they said, look, we about to shut down production in China and move to Cambodia.
Yep.
And in the news, and all these people are idiots, man, cat. We can't sugarcoat it no more. They dumbasses.
There's other companies that have decided to buy up a bunch of merchandise from overseas right now while there's no tariffs. And to have the money to do that, they had to let go some employees. And a lot of those were Republican voters. A lot of them are going on social media, putting that out there, that some of them have lost their jobs already in this moment right now. They already lose their jobs.
Because corporations are getting ready. Because they know what's about to happen.
Right. They don't want to pay those taxes. They don't want to pay that extra money for nothing. Why would they do that?
So, we got all these people talking about, this is why capitalism bad, this and that. No, Steve Madden, you want to try to cheat and slime your way through, not paying your fair share, embargo the whole damn company. And you want to get some, ain't no more Steve Madden shoes. Embargo. You use incentives from the government to inspire new generational wealth in other companies. That's capitalism. Not the stuff that we see now. That's not capitalism. That's neoliberalism. Classical liberalism don't play that. It's survival of the fittest. If you don't want to play the game, get your ass out, and we'll make sure you get out. And there'll be a new age of business owners that'll take your place. Point blank, period. That's
how it should be. That's how it should be, but it ain't. We never see it like that right now. We never see it like that. Oh my God. Okay, so let's pivot over to another. I don't know if MD gonna be mad at this one, but there was some text messages. There were some text messages that certain groups of people got. Let's take a look at this story and we'll go on the other end.
Text messages from an unknown source sent out to people across the state.
So this text message asks people to report to a plantation to pick cotton. They arrived on people's phones a day after the election.
So it's unclear who's sending the text, but one person who received that text message is one of our own 13 News Now photographers. Stephanie Johnson joins us in the studio with the story. Stephanie.
Yeah, guys, our photographer Sam Burwell says he received the text message earlier today before he came into work, and it left him feeling confused and shocked. 13 News Now photographer Sam Burwell says he received a strange text message from an unfamiliar number.
I took a slight nap this morning, woke up, first text I saw was somebody texting me, greeting me, first of all, greetings, and we will be there to pick you up for a cotton field. So it was kind of confusing.
The text message read, "Greetings, Samuel. You have been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Be ready at 12 p.m. sharp with your belongings. Our executive slaves will come get you in a brown van. Be prepared to be searched down once you've entered the plantation. You are in Plantation Group W."
I had a cousin up in Richmond that received the same text message, but I found it weird that in my text message, it had a different group number than his, and they both had our names.
On Wednesday, people shared the same message with different group assignments from various phone numbers across social media. 13 News Now reached out to Virginia's Attorney General Jason Miara's office. They sent a statement saying, "The Attorney General's office is aware of these text messages and unequivocally condemns them. Anyone who believes themselves to be under threat should not hesitate to contact local law enforcement as well as their local FBI field office." Meanwhile, Burwell says he's concerned he received the message a day after the election.
I feel like it's just a spam message, but I do feel disappointed about the message that they're sending a day after the election.
The texts are truly disturbing.
Greetings.
You have been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation.
29-year-old Monet Miller, a public relations executive from Atlanta, was shocked to get one by name.
Greetings, Monet M. You have been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Our executive slaves will come get you in a brown van.
When you opened your phone and you read that text, what was your reaction?
I opened up my text and I saw that and I was just like...
What would you say to the people who are behind these texts?
I would just say, you are insane.
Another target, Talia Jones from Spotsylvania, Virginia, received both an email and a text.
When I got online and saw that a lot of people were getting it, all people of color, people in elementary school, middle school, I think that's the part that made me sad, because I'm like, these are children. A lot of them are oblivious to what this even really means.
The number of Americans who have received the mysterious texts is unknown, but that number could be in the hundreds, perhaps even thousands. And the echoes of slavery are unmistakable, with references to cotton picking and plantations.
Most of the victims are black and include students at Clemson University, the University of Alabama, Missouri State, and a historically black college in Nashville. Cybersecurity expert Joseph Steinberg.
It's relatively easy to obtain lists of phone numbers, right? You go online, you can look at, school activities. Often there are documents that have been posted of team membership or club memberships that don't have proper protection. And the people who do these types of things know how to obtain these.
Welcome to Text Now.
Some of the texts come via Text Now, a phone company that offers free numbers and anonymity. As soon as we became aware, our trust and safety team acted quickly, rapidly disabling the related accounts in less than an hour, a statement says. CBS Morning's Adriana Diaz reported that one text was traced to a Fort Wayne, Indiana area code.
Someone is sending them hateful messages on their text, on their phones. Those messages contain racist language, and now the FBI has gotten involved. Melanie Olenwick is live this morning in Southwest D.C. with the latest. And Melanie, you've gotten your hands on some of these messages. What are you finding out?
Yeah, they're very disturbing, and folks here in the L'Enfant Plaza area are certainly talking about it. You know, the attorneys general for D.C., Maryland, and Virginia have all received complaints about these and say that they are investigating individually and also will be working together. Now, one of the reasons we came here to L'Enfant Plaza is there's different versions of these texts, but one of them actually directs people to come to this location just around the corner. It says with all of their belongings at 5 a.m. Take a look here. It goes on to say that people will be picked up in a turquoise van to be house slaves at Abingdon Plantation. It is signed Sincerely Trump Administration. A second version circulating says the recipient has been selected to pick cotton and to be on the lookout for a brown van that will take them to Plantation Group A. Many people we talked to said they recognize that this is spam intended to further anger and divide people.
I don't get it. I'm a different generation, so it's sad why we can't just all get along and live in peace. And as they say, I don't get it. Yeah. Why we have to just create discord.
Too bad the country is divided the way it is, but hopefully it'll get better. It's the only thing we can deal with right now. See what happens, and hopefully whoever's sending those out will be found out and be responded to appropriately.
It's enough. Just let it go. Just leave it alone. Why can't we just come together as a country, let it go, and just move forward? It's enough already. Just move on.
Is investigating reports of a wave of racist text messages hitting black people's phones in multiple states. These messages are being reported in at least 8 states, and many of the targets appear to be middle school, high school, and college-age students. All of the messages following a pattern, sharing similar language, including racist rhetoric, that they had been, quote, selected to pick cotton. CNN's Gabe Cohen has the details. He's joining us right now. Tell us more of what you're learning about what they're doing about this, Gabe.
Well, Kate, first off, it looks like this is more widespread than we expected, with people in at least 24 states now having reported receiving these messages. And these texts are not just upsetting, but they are alarming. They are personalized, and many of them specifically target black and brown individuals, some of them students, some of them children. I want to show you one of the texts. It was sent to us by a woman in New Jersey. The text has her name written at the top of it, as you can see right there, and it references picking cotton. It references slave catchers and plantations. And some of the messages specifically reference President-elect Trump. Now, to be clear, the Trump campaign has told several media outlets that they had absolutely nothing to do with this. But as you can imagine, many people are really on edge in these days since the election. I want to play for you what a Colorado mother said after her 16-year-old son got one of these texts. Take a listen.
It's very tense. It's very scary for a lot of individuals. The fact that it happened the day after, Election Day, it really speaks to what I think is going on here.
And the president of the NAACP put out a statement saying these messages represent an alarming increase in vile and abhorrent rhetoric from racist groups across the country who now feel emboldened to spread hate and stoke the flames of fear that many of us are feeling after Tuesday's election results. And Sarah, there are investigations underway all over the country at this point to figure out who is behind this. It does appear at least some of them, these messages, were sent out using a service called Text Now. It allows people to create phone numbers for free. That company, Text Now, tells us in a statement, we believe this is a widespread, coordinated attack, and we are now working alongside our industry partners to uncover more details and continue to monitor patterns to actively block any new accounts attempting to send these messages. And the FBI is also on this. They put out a statement saying that they're aware of the messages. And Sarah, they say they're in contact with the Justice Department and other federal authorities. So a lot of folks are on this right now, a lot of agencies. It's not clear, though, if they have it completely shut down at this point.
All right, there we go. All right, Trump administration said it had nothing to do with it. But the day after the election, we have a lot of buffoonery going on, and they're trolling. So, what do you think about?
I think MD is 100% correct.
Go ahead.
I think MD is 1,000% correct. This is just something to get us in an uproar so we don't notice the other BS they probably trying to do behind the scenes. He said this a couple weeks ago. He was talking about this before the election. And I understood it then, and I allowed myself to get sucked back into it because I love debating. I love the nonsense. And that's part of the problem of our people. He's 100% correct. This foolishness needs to, not only should it not be news, but all black people should have looked at it, said, yeah, them crackers stupid, and went back to what we were supposed to be doing. That's how we should have, this shouldn't even have been a report. We should have just looked at this. It should have been like if you're at a corporate job and somebody says, oh, I colored in the lines, and then another guy goes, ooh, colored. Be careful. You gonna blow a gasket and get fired, or you gonna be like, all right, don't trust that cracker and move on with your life. That's what you're gonna do. You might go to HR, but you know it ain't gonna do nothing. So you're just gonna move on with your life. We need to. He's 100% right. You know what? I might extend an invite because we need a Black Power section of the MIR because we allow ourselves. We're so easily distracted, just like we're so easy to invite people to our cookouts to let people in, like how y'all let Justin Timberlake in, or how y'all let all the he could dance. He must be one of us, or he played the saxophone. He ain't black. He ain't one of us. MD is 100% right. This should have been a breeze by. Everybody should have looked at it, been like, stupid crackers, and went on with our day. That's
What about the kids, though? What about the kids that were getting it?
My G, there were no kids getting it. There were teens getting it. If there was a child, if there was a child getting it, he shouldn't have had a damn cell phone. Your kid, if you have a child, they too young to be getting this stuff. You should be monitoring their stuff anyway. And if a teen, and guess what? If a teen gets it, or just a preteen, it's a wonderful moment for us to stop the foolishness that's going on with the new adults, the modern adult males. We can have a conversation explaining to them, hey, this is America. And I don't mean the Childish Gambino song. This is America. This is what it's about. And this is how you react in situations like this. I'm going to tell you about it, and then I'm going to show you about it. You don't let nobody get you off your square. We have bigger things we need to do. We need to be making this, like I saw a black girl talk about, well, let's make Black Project 2025. And I laughed because it'll never happen, because white supremacy will all of a sudden, Kendrick and Drake will start beefing again. And niggas love a beef, and I'm included. And we'll forget all about it. I heard a great saying today. You want to hide something from niggas, you put it in books. You want to hide something from black women, you give them money. That's all they're doing. You give them money, or you give them something to argue about. Oh, it's over with. MD's 1,000% right. This is just a tactic to get our mind off of what we should be focused on, and that's trying to get our locals back, trying to get our states back. We're only in like 9 states. We should run them states. If we can use white fragility and white supremacy to our advantage for finally, we should be running these states. But we won't, because it's already over. The world is already over. The country's definitely over. Let it all burn down. Burn it down, Trump, and I'll shut up.
All right. Thanks, Murr. MD, what do you think about what Mike just said and the idea that someone somewhere is targeting blacks randomly all across the country?
Oh, damn, I was on mute. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with nothing Mike said. Like I said again, I mean, it is more about how the reaction displays itself more than it is than the actual text. Just the same as I thought about the whole Nick Fuentes thing. But it's an important, I guess you would say, tinfoil conspiracy that I compounded in regards to it. There's an inclination in my mind where I do believe this was Russian collusion. What happened?
The signal came from Poland.
Say what?
There was a report that some of the signals came from Poland.
Oh, hell, that's close enough. So what I'm telling you, yeah. So what I'm saying, remember what happened on election night. There was Russian collusion on election night.
The internet was
my internet was crashing out for I don't know why. I heard other people saying what's going on with the internet. It was something happening that night. I'm telling you.
And
the hacking of the machines in various spots.
Yep, I forgot.
Where were those spots at? The one, especially in the ones in Georgia. These were all black precincts, Van Cat. All of them. They were black precincts where this stuff was happening.
And I'm gonna put on my tin hat on and say Musk, Stargate, whatever damn satellites are all involved too, because he used an app. For some reason, I maybe it's just me, but for Trump for the last few weeks to say we don't need the votes anymore, we got this. I find that very strange. I don't know why, but I digress. I find that very odd.
Well, I agree. I agree with that point about the Starlink. Now, I'm not necessarily tripping hard. Some places in Western Virginia needed Starlink because there was no infrastructure to vote.
Which is fine.
There was no infrastructure to vote. So I again, but that don't mean there wasn't no funny business going on. I ain't saying that. It definitely could have been some funny business.
Which is why it should be
and with it being right, and with it being Elon, you got to expect it at the end of the day. But going back to the stuff happening, the bomb threats and all that, those were black precincts where they happened at. All of them around the country where they were happening. All of them was in black precincts. Just a couple days. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, because you're saying black precincts, and they're doing bomb threats, and they're doing all these diversionary tactics to stop black people from voting. Yet we have black people not understanding the importance of the vote itself. Clearly, white people understand how important it is for black people not to vote, but we have black people not knowing how it's important for them to vote. Go ahead. I just want to make that point while you said that.
Hey, you couldn't have said it. You said it better than I could have. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But
did you hear that Elon Musk told Joe Rogan that they already had it in the bag like hours before it was even called?
hey,
Yeah,
man,
I
hey,
heard
like I
that.
said,
I
yeah,
heard that.
we can play 10-4 all day long. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we saw clearly that there was a focal point on disrupting black people and
Right.
just messing with it. It was clear. So and we know at least one source was Russian. We know that for a fact.
And that will never change.
So this is Putin telling like Trump, hey, look, you are in my pocket now. Just the other day on Russian state television, they had a whole hour long special, no talking, no commentary, just showing new pics of
Kamala.
yeah, what's her face? Why are they doing? They playing with Trump. I'm telling you, hey man, we we gonna look back
You're talking about
before we.
Melania, right? They had
Yeah,
pics of
Melania. Yeah,
Melania.
they had for a whole hour special.
And these are
No,
not
no
pics. These are explicit pics, by the way.
explicit.
Busting it open and all. So I mean,
They Trump is going through a humiliation ritual right now. That's what's
yes,
happening.
they are. Yes. That's exactly what Putin is doing.
He telling Trump, hey, look, I'm doing all of this stuff to show you that I can do it. Okay, so don't forget who powdered your nose at the end of the day. Don't forget it because it's going right up in the anal cavity once again.
But it goes to prove the point that the CIA was saying that Putin must have some kind of blackmail over Trump for some reason.
Yeah, he got the PP tape.
He
That's
got
what they
some.
got. You don't think? Remember the Steele dossier in
Yeah,
2016? You don't
and
think that's real? You think they just gonna do that for no reason?
yeah, no, some is
They
up.
got the PP tapes.
Somehow Putin has something over Trump's head, and he knows how to get him. And but all this talk that he's been doing for Putin don't care because we all know Putin is. He's little but very mighty. Pause. But he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's gonna get him at some point. He's gonna get him.
Remember, Ricardo, after the election, Trump said that he had talked to Putin. Putin came out and said, man, I ain't talked to Trump.
Yep.
Why would he do that?
Yep. And
Why?
Musk was allegedly in the room too. So I don't know what they were
Well,
talking.
that was the Zelensky call. Now that happened because it's audio with it. He did talk to Zelensky, but Putin is denying that he talked to Trump. Why is he doing that? He's playing with Trump. If people don't understand that this is a Russian election, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man, this thing is a bit. I'm telling you, we're gonna look back at these days and say this is when it all started. All the problems. I mean, my
Hey,
God, I don't see anything good coming here.
this is the episode of what was that show that Olivia Pope was on?
Scandal.
Yeah, this episode of Scandal when they bought the election for the Republic. Yeah, man.
Yep.
We in there.
Oh man. So all right. So let's pivot over to one more topic before lame duck. As far as we're talking about this election. Why did Kamala Harris lose? What happened? We're trying to understand what's going on, and we're giving our point of views. I blame a lot of this on Joe Biden's feet. Joe Biden is the reason why we are in this situation that we're in right now. And it was purely selfish, egotistical reasons why. Stephen A. Smith talked about this, and I agree with what he's saying here. I want to play this 4-minute video. Listen to Stephen A. Smith, and you guys tell me what you think.
If you look at that number right there in the CNN exit polls, the Hispanic vote for Trump increased by 13% from what it was in 2020 when he lost to President Joe Biden. With the black community, according to that same CNN poll, it increased by 5%. And obviously, when you hear 5%, you're automatically going to deduce that it was black men that ultimately hurt Kamala Harris. I tend to focus on the 13%. because I think that when you are Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, that's really, really what we have to do as we take a closer look as to what transpired. But let's talk about Harris and her overall performance in this election, okay? In fairness, I don't think anybody should be laying the party's loss at her feet. I'm going to say that up front, okay? There were missed opportunities from the White House and the Democratic Party, no doubt, but I'm not going to lay it at her feet. Before I even get into it, here's a look at my top 5 reasons, again, why the Democratic Party lost this presidential election. Look at it for yourself. The economy, immigration, crime, the woke culture. That last one, no primary candidate, okay? Let me go down the list. You're the vice president of the United States. You should be on top of all of these issues. You should be ready to do interviews at a moment's notice. I'm not saying she didn't know the issues. I think she was overly sensitive to not coming across as if she threw Joe Biden under the bus. But here's the thing. Did Joe Biden deserve to be thrown under the bus? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Let me tell you why. In 2020, he wins election. When he wins the election in 2020, Joe Biden promised to be a transitional president. He called himself a stopgap, an individual that was looking to pave the way for future candidates coming down the pike. He knew that come time for re-election, he would be 81, approaching 82 years of age. He knew that. What's he going to do, stay in office till 86? He gave us the impression that wasn't what he was going to do. What did he did after? What he did was the midterms came about. And it was supposed to be some red wave with a bunch of Republicans winning seats in the Senate and in the House. It didn't happen. So because of that, since he was the incumbent, he was feeling himself because look at how many seats were retained or captured by the Democrats. And as a result, he could stay in office. He could stay in power, and he decided he wasn't going to walk away. And when he decided he wasn't going to walk away, all hell broke loose because we saw health debilitating. His fastball, per se, not necessarily being there. And if we saw it on June 27th when he went on the stage to debate against Donald Trump, they damn sure saw it beforehand. They saw it, but they couldn't tell us because they weren't going to dime him out. So it's all able to be deduced at this particular moment in time. They knew what was coming on. They knew what was going on. They weren't going to dime him out. They weren't going to expose him like that. So they let him expose himself on the debate stage. Then 3.5 weeks later, he ultimately stepped away and she became the presumptive Democratic nominee. But what also came with that? What also came with that was the skids were greased. And the American public didn't like that because in this nation, we like competition. We want to see him in a primary. Then we would have knew before June 27th, he wasn't ready. And if you're not going to see him, you wanted to see her in a primary. But that didn't happen because by the time he stepped away, it was too late to entertain Dean Phillips or anybody else as a potential Democratic nominee. So as a result, the road was paved for her to go up against Trump unabated. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like hearing it, but that's what happened.
All right, so there we go. All right, so I'll go back to MD. MD, what do you think about what was just said about Joe Biden? Is it fair or not fair?
In retrospect, it's fair. Now again, I was to the position, and he kind of alluded to that in his commentary. First and foremost, let me say, I don't care particularly what Stephen A. Smith say about anything political. I don't take it seriously in that regard. But to any event, he said some truthful things. In retrospect, should Biden have kept his word and been a bridge president? 100%, absolutely. Because I don't think we would have been in the position that we are now. At the very least, there would have been a longer enough time for discourse enabled to solidify a foundational position for the Democrats, at the very least. So, I agree with him in that aspect. That's what he said. He said he was going to be a bridge president. And like I said, that red wave, he called it. He hit it right on the head. That red wave was supposed to happen. We were all talking. Well, I think I was arena at that time. We were talking about it, and it didn't happen the way we thought it was going to happen. So there's some acclamation to that. Like, yeah, okay, so I could just ride it out. I can just ride it out. But you look at a person like Nancy Pelosi, she saw it. She definitely saw it. Now, I don't agree with, I mean, he didn't really say it, but I'm going to put it on him anyway. The fact that people were saying that we should have had an open primary, that's nonsense. That is not the time to have discourse amongst the party that late stage of the game. I'm not saying Stephen A said that, but I'm just saying
maybe he was saying that the primary should have happened earlier because Biden would have been out of it. Yeah, and that I'm gonna assume that's what he's trying to say. But I agree with you on that. Like, there's no way in hell 3 months to go from an election you're gonna have a friggin' primary. That's the dumbest thought of all thoughts.
Yeah, because if you thought that people didn't know who Kamala was in these 3 months, where it was the most comprehensive that she could possibly be, what you think that they were gonna say if it would have been a whole bunch of Democrats fighting each other 3 months before the election?
And where would their money come from? They wouldn't have had no money. They would have been started from scratch.
Yeah.
With 3
all
months
financed through the DNC.
Yeah,
the DNC didn't have time to finance debates and open conversation amongst candidates. They didn't have time for that.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. He put Kamala Harris in a position of failure. Now, she juggled and did a lot of things to make it look good on the way to defeat, but she didn't have a fair shot to win. And this is the thing, like, all these people are analyzing this election and not focus on the real issue of what got us here. You talk about mixed messages. You talk about lack of a constant like storyline or some sort of a thing to ride on. You talk about all the missteps, but a lot of that is coming from the 3 months to go election time. The last time we had that, we did it on the show, TFP. We compared 1968 and 2024. The parallels are uncanny. You cannot deny the parallels. And the losing candidate from the Democratic Party, he said, he had 9 months, by the way. Kamala Harris had 3. This nigga had 9 months. And he said at the end of the day, he lost by a little. And he said if he had more time, he would have been able to win. He knew he would have been able to win. Right. So all this blame game that's going on and the finger pointing and we got like Democrats that are retroactively changing their position. All of a sudden they're anti this or they're anti that. All of a sudden and by the way, there's a bunch of, if you look at like Democrat paid ads, you would not know that was a Democrat. A bunch of Democrats are talking about border stuff, trans stuff, all this weird stuff. Like you would not know. So they lost anyway. And that's again what I said earlier. If you're gonna lose with who you really are. Lose with what you really stand on, and stop losing trying to pretend to be somebody else. The Democrats
they tried to outright the right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I close with this. People gave me pushback because I said, why would Kamala Harris distance herself from Biden? What was the point of her distancing herself from Biden? All she could do was stand on the policy principles in which she was under the Biden administration. That's all she could do. Why would she distance herself from that? Why were people trying to stress her distancing herself from Biden in a 3-month time span? That's insane to me. Stand on the foundation that Biden put in place and expand on it. But she was getting pulled in 2 different directions. That's why she wouldn't talk about her being a black woman or Indian woman or hell a woman. She wouldn't talk about none of that because she was getting pulled in different directions. She didn't know if she needed to play the identity politics game. She didn't know if she needed to hell damn Republican rhetoric. They were pulling her all over the place. And that's what ultimately led to her demise. Point blank period.
All right, thanks, FD. Ricardo, what do you think about Joe Biden's effect on this race? Do you think it's fair to blame him or not?
Not entirely, but he should have stepped aside. I mean, Joe literally would have been the oldest president in recorded history. Now it's going to be Donald Trump, which is ironic. But there's a lot of blaming to go all the way around. I mean, particularly, we're not going to let the Democratic Party off the hook because they really should have done, quite a lot more than they did here. But Joe, if I understand correctly, remember, Vancat, Joe was pulled out of, mourning because he was, mourning his son Bo at the time when Trump came in, and the Democratic Party approached him and said, "Hey, you need to run because at this point, Trump is going to be such and such and such." And he said, "No, I'm not going to do it." And they're like, "You're literally coming off the heels of Obama. Now would be the time." And he didn't run. And then we had, the rest was history, and we had Trump coming down the escalator, and the Simpsons prediction came to fruition. Little bit after that, we went through the pandemic, and then they went back and begged Joe and said, "Joe, you need to live. Like, we need you to come out now." And like that was it's exponentially, it's one of those things. We need you to come out. And again, he said no. And then he went and did it, and he became president on account of, it was dire. The country needed him. We're, no time than the president to run. And he ran and literally won the presidency. I feel like Joe is kind of like Ruth in a way where they felt like they knew everything. They had an idea of, hey, I've done this for the longest, but that doesn't always work. I think with time, people are in progressions and thought processing and everything else changes. And I think he ran the course a little bit much more longer than should. Did they do him dirty in some sense? In a way, yes, because Pelosi and crew was like, get out of the race. And he was like, who you talking to? They're like, we're talking to you. Get out of the race. And he's like, no. And so it came down to the wire of this summer when, hey, we were all blindsided by the fact that he's like, I'm stepping down. Now, in the midst of the election being in November, you're going to step down now. But, Kamala really didn't have a choice. And again, like MD mentioned, what was she going to do? Because she had to distance herself. Like if he had, because correct me if I'm wrong, MD, I think he mentioned, hey, I wanted to campaign with Kamala, and her campaign people were like, no, we're not going to let you campaign with her because it's going to create this illusion that it's the same old, even though it was. But you don't want to give the voice.
Yeah, it was the same old, same old. Her campaign team was literally the Biden campaign team.
Right. But
she inherited everything from Biden. Why did she need to distance herself from it?
But that's because the Trump people were like, hey, see, we told y'all she's the same set of people. So in her eyes, she was given the illusion of, okay, no, I'm not. It's a brand new thing. I'm turning a new page and all that. We know better because we actually are politically astute. But some people that are like in the rurals and didn't know that much, which I'm assuming they wouldn't, because that's going by assumption, would have been like, okay, well, we're confused because, we're not sure if she's this or this, that. And then Trump didn't help the case when he's like, I didn't know she's black. I thought she said she was in the whole time, which was another issue for me. And I know it was for you as well as many people. Like I've been saying, as Jamaicans, you don't really need to state that you're black at that particular point. But, this country that we live in is predicated on, race and, what else did you expect? You were going to run with that, and that narrative went out of control. So people said they still didn't know who she was, which I felt like she should have done a lot of interviews, which she didn't do. That was the other issue, which is why she didn't win as well. She didn't do interviews until the very last minute. And when she did decide to do the interviews, it was like, it had to be premeditated kind of thing where they had to read the questions. You need to be yourself and do these questions, whether it be like hard pressing questions or feeling uncomfortable, at least do them so people have an idea as to how you will be able to handle. But I digress. She did what she could based on how the campaign was doing it, and it is what it is. But there's a lot of blame to go around. Does Biden deserve some of the blame, just a smidge off? But lest we forget, it was the Democratic Party that approached him and asked him to jump into the race post pandemic, and we can't blame the man for being one of those people who, mind you, he says a lot of gaffes, by the way. I mean, because Wayne was saying, "Oh, see, you guys were doing the whole thing." Let's be clear, we don't let him off the hook, because he said a whole bunch of BS sometimes. Like he you want to say, MD always mentioned nigga babble, he tends to wigga babble a lot, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like this whole thing, you in black with Charlemagne and all of that, we've been known that's how he is. Obama had a hard time with him, but what Obama realized with Biden was he always got the job done as a VP, because he always knew a whole bunch of people in the chambers. So he kind of was that brokerage bridge of, hey, I could approach so-and-so and I could get the job done. And that was when he was in stellar health. We slowly saw him starting to age, and it was like Pelosi and crew started getting panicky. Mind you, Pelosi ain't no young feather chicken either. But at least she knows her limits. She kind of does, because she's still the most powerful person in the Democratic Party. I'm assuming that might have changed by now. But Biden deserves some blame. Pelosi deserves some blame. The Democratic Party all around deserve blame. But Kamala herself deserves some blame. Everybody deserves blame. We can't look back at the past now. What I want them to look at is how to progress going to the 2 years from now, because midterms is literally not too far from now. I want to see how the Democrats can regroup. We know we're doing the voters post-mortem right now, but people are fickle in this country. I bet you anyway, we're going to forget what happened during this election cycle, and we're going to progress into the next big thing, and we're going to go forward from there. So, it is what it is. I just think it's time to regroup. I don't even know what regroup means for the Democratic Party anymore, but I digress. Let's see what they do, because, I bet you anything they're not going to learn a damn thing. The Republicans don't usually regroup. They just run forward with their mantra and they just keep it moving. The Democratic Party is going to look back, try to, look back on videos and all this crap, just figure out how to incorporate people. But you missed me with all of that now, because I'm now Team Fearless. I'm now with MD with Black Power semblance, because I don't know if he's going to incorporate the immigrants like Yanga does. I don't know. At this point, we just need to move forward. Venkat, you have two avatars on the thing. Okay, now you got one. All around, I'm nigga babbling right now, but Democrats deserve all the blame. And Joe, you should have dropped out when you had the time, but I get it. They came to you and you're like, why should I drop out? So I get it.
It was selfish of what he did. Selfish. Murr, what do you think, Murr? What do you think? Did Joe Biden screw over the Democratic ticket, or is he not to blame? Mike, you available?
Nah, he got that damn ham and cheese hot pocket in his mouth.
Ham and cheese.
He ain't got that's what it is.
All right, so we're gonna move on then. Maybe he'll be back for lame duck. So speaking of which, it's time to toot up the band. It's time to get ready for that time. Time to go into session. Time to find out who is this week's trash bag human of the week. There's multiple options. So let's see who will be lame duck number 64.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready?
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys. I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. With great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
My
position as Delta Township Supervisor, effective immediately. Respectfully, Kenneth R. Fletcher.
A longtime local elected official resigns after he's arrested on charges of accosting a minor. And it is our top story at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Ken Fletcher, who has served as Delta Township Supervisor since 2008, resigned Tuesday.
That's after the Eaton County prosecutor filed charges against him, accusing him of using a dating app to try and meet with a 15-year-old boy.
Except the 15-year-old was actually an Eaton County Sheriff's deputy. Rachel Ramsey took a look at the court documents and is here now to break down this case. Rachel?
Sherry, Siobhan, Ken Fletcher resigned yesterday afternoon in a one-sentence letter to Delta Township Clerk Mary Clark. The reason? He's facing 2 felony warrants in Eaton County. That's after Eaton County investigators say Fletcher communicated with an undercover decoy on the dating app Grindr. While the app is only supposed to be used by adults, the detective on the other side of the conversation told Fletcher she was a 15-year-old boy. And court documents say he continued to talk with the decoy sexually and non-sexually, eventually agreeing to communicate by text message on his cell phone.
They go out there and they, see if individuals want to communicate with people who are posing as underage, boys or girls. In this particular case, that's exactly what happened, and after that exchange occurred with the defendant in this matter, police reports were prepared and they were sent to my office for review. After I reviewed them, I made the determination that I believed that a crime had been committed, and so the individual that you speak about, the defendant Ken Fletcher, was charged with 2 counts.
The warrants were authorized for Fletcher's arrest Tuesday afternoon. He was arraigned in a Charlotte courtroom this morning, and he faces 1 count of using a computer to commit a crime and 1 count of accosting a child for immoral purposes. Fletcher, who authorities say is just one of several people they caught in this sting, was released on a $5,000 bond. He is due back in court for a hearing September 16th. And as it turns out, Fletcher is on the November ballot to keep his job as supervisor. And
What's next for the Delta Township Supervisor position? I'm your Delta Township neighborhood reporter, Willem Ake. And on Monday, former Township Supervisor Ken Fletcher appeared in court. And on the same day, the township is discussing what's next with his name still on the November ballot.
We are adjourned.
After a closed session to discuss the legal side of Ken Fletcher's resignation, neighbors got their turn to ask questions at Monday night's meeting.
As acting supervisor, that's effective until the next supervisor is sworn in after the election. Is that true?
That acting supervisor is Mary Clark, who was the clerk, but other questions aren't so clear. Delta Township Manager Brian Reed says discussions on proceedings are still ongoing.
Obviously, we couldn't control the timing of this, so our board is still really navigating through the legal side of this with the upcoming election.
Eaton County Clerk Diana Bosworth said, per state guidance, the candidate will remain on the ballot. If elected, the candidate would have to choose not to take office. Running uncontested means Fletcher still has a chance to win the position, but it's not likely he'll take the position back. In a statement from the law firm representing Fletcher, they said, quote, Ken has enough on his plate, and quote, I cannot imagine he wants anything to do with the public eye/public office right now. This discussion comes with Fletcher still on the ballot while facing felony charges in Eaton County. Prosecutors accuse Fletcher of allegedly having social media conversations with a person he thought was under the age of 16. Fletcher appeared in court Monday, where his lawyer spoke on his behalf.
And there's no indication that he ever had an interest in meeting up with anyone who was under the age of 16, given he refused to hear, and they allegedly searched his devices and found nothing.
Eaton County prosecutor Doug Lloyd responded.
Mr. Wickman is being disingenuous when he says that some of those texts did not occur on text message after Mr. Fletcher had been advised that the individual was 15 years old.
For the township, a write-in campaign is still a possibility, as long as the candidate files by Friday, October 25th at 4 p.m. Reed ensures confidence as they navigate a developing challenge.
I don't think there's any worries with, the day-to-day business of the township.
A man facing felony charges has been reelected as Delta Township Supervisor. Ken Fletcher got 89% of the vote. Fletcher resigned 2 months ago. He's been charged in Eaton County with attempting to accost a child for immoral purposes and using a computer to commit a crime. News 10's Isley Herschel went looking for answers to figure out what happens next since he resigned after he was charged. Here's what she found out.
Ken Fletcher and his attorney were surprised to find out he won the election with almost 90% of the popular vote.
When I heard about the number of votes and the margin, I was pleasantly surprised by that, and I think Ken was too.
Fletcher resigned from the Delta Township Supervisor role on September 3rd of this year, after he was caught allegedly engaging in sexual conversation with who he thought was a 15-year-old male. Mary Clark is currently serving as the Delta Township Supervisor and explained Fletcher has until midnight on December 31st to assume office.
He can vacate the office if he does not get sworn in by then. He could get sworn in and resign, or obviously he could get sworn in and stay.
With these options on the table, Fletcher's attorney, Mike Nichols, says he has some important decisions to make.
The biggest question, I think, for Ken Fletcher is this the right thing for not just me, but for the community? Am I still the best person for the job?
It's still unclear whether or not Fletcher will accept the role.
I'm not Ken. I don't know what his decision is going to be. I just know that really he hadn't given it much of any thought at all.
As for Delta Township, their options vary, from releasing Fletcher from his position and appointing someone new to letting him stay.
We have not made a decision other than we will be acting in some manner in January.
In Delta Township, Isley Herschel, News 10.
Fletcher is out on bond tonight, and as part of the conditions of his release, he cannot use email or the internet, which would make it difficult for him to be Delta Township Supervisor. Nichols is working to get those bond conditions changed.
All right. All right. There we go. There he goes. Put the spotlight on this big human pile of trash. Pedophile at his finest. Ken Fletcher, trash bag human of the week. Lame duck number 64. MD, what do you think about Ken Fletcher?
Yeah, I don't know why he's the lame duck. The lame duck is the people that voted for him. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I can't even get mad at them because he ran uncontested. That's a bigger issue. That lets you know how detached we are from government. That's just a fact. You mean to tell me ain't nobody in the town? Now what
But
state
there
was
were
this?
other
This was
people. But there were other people.
those were write-ins that people don't know about. You got to know about
Ah,
the write-in to write them in. He ran
well,
uncontested,
yeah.
literally uncontested. So again, like you telling me that this was Ohio, correct? I believe.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, because that's the only place I know where they call them townships. But
Yeah.
what were these people doing in this town to not have a person just off the couch running for this particular seat in government? Like, what are they doing?
Wow.
This is a microcosm of a larger problem, and it goes back to the whole theme of this show. People are dumb as hell, Van Cat. We must
Yep.
understand this. We got to.
Yep.
People are stupid. They just vote like that. That's what they say. They just click the box. Don't know nothing about nothing. Like this is the reality that we living in. You know what I'm saying? Now let me get. I got to be MD. I got to go legal eagle. What happened to this person was in a form of entrapment. I don't believe in online things. I don't. I never have. This person, it wasn't coercion because obviously they based it off the premise that this operative posed themselves as a 15-year-old, then engaged in the lewd and lascivious conduct. So that part A, I can't, ain't no way I can defend that. He a weirdo at the end of the day, but I can defend his right to be on a platform that has to constitute consent of an 18-year-old. We had a similar story about this months ago with the guy that was in the woods in the car.
Yep.
You simply cannot hold a defense to be a law enforcement official. Go on a website where there has to be consent of a. Now, again, the case is there because it's known that the awareness was the age of 15. That's known. But you can also make a defense in principle that the consent based on what the website has is 18. And this person violated, even though it wasn't the person that he said, again, I don't agree with any type of entrapment. I don't care how bad or how heinous the act is. You entrapped this person. Not only did you entrap him, you entrapped him through a means of deception on a site that clearly says you have to consent to be in the age of 18. Now that's me being legal eagle. I can't be nothing else but that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a case to be made. Ken Fletcher, you might want to holler at me. I got to get paid. I got to get paid big money. But you might want to holler at me. But hell, depending on how much pull you got, you might can get your case thrown away like Trump just did. Hell, you're in office now. So yeah,
So
that's all I got on it.
so we got a president that's a convicted criminal, and we got a township. What the hell? What is he again? I forgot what he is again. But supervisor, township supervisor, that's also been to prison or been to jail on some lewd act with minor. Oh my God. Ricardo, what do you think about this lame duck, this number 64, Ken Fletcher?
Well, clearly he ain't Barbie's Ken. He's listen, I just for the life of me, maybe these townships, maybe these rural areas, they have nothing better to do with their time. But it clearly shows they're horny. They are very bored and have like so much time on their hands But I'm not even I do have to agree with MD here because it's almost similar to the other case, even though it's disgusting as well. Mind you, was it that they're entrapping him to say that he was going after a 15-year-old boy or a girl? Neither does it make a difference, but I didn't get that part. That was where I was confused. But in any case, it's still an entrapment. I think he will get off this case scotch-free. But MD does have a point. Why is it that these people are electing somebody, even though it wasn't contested? Why are you electing somebody that clearly did something that like this? Is it that people are not doing their homework? But then again, MD did brought up another valid point again. People are dumb as hell. People are really that stupid, and they're not inclined to do their homework, which has been this underlying issue and theme all along. I have a major problem with this where people are just not doing their homework and they're listening to, it looks like most people get their information now from social media and everything else and just go with them willy-nilly. I'm just going to vote. Like, nah, do your research on the people that are being placed on the ballot. Like, how did he still end up winning is beyond me, but it doesn't surprise me one bit. But it goes to prove my point again, and I'm going to keep saying it because, my disgusting ass will always bring up stuff. But these folks are horny, belligerent, disgusting, bored out of their minds, which they're entitled to do whatever they want to do online. I mean, but like MD brought up the legalities here. If the person, or if you're going on a website that states that you must be 18 and older by consent, you technically can't entrap somebody with that if they were like underage. I mean, you should know better. Why is it that they're not? I could have sworn they're passing legislation now where they're stating that you have to show ID and prove that you're actually 18 or something along the lines. It might have been Facebook that started doing that. I could be wrong. But any site that you go on that's an adult contented site usually have that, fine print that's 18 or older. As for how they validate that, I would never know. Because I guess you have to put in the date of birth, and it's not like you're showing ID or picture format and all of that. So MD does bring up a good point. They could probably get off with that, but it doesn't excuse his behavior. And, in all content, it's not a good look overall for him. But Ken is always going to be Ken. You know what I mean? Like, it goes to prove my point. Again, grown-ass folks that are usually supposed to be conservative and all that for family values are very filthy, disgusting people. And it's the people that you usually think aren't. But hey, what do I know? Do what you do, Ken. You're still the lame duck of the week, or the lame duck is in session year 64. I'm very surprised it's not somebody else that I thought it should have been. But by all means, you're still disgusting and filthy. So, yeah, I have nothing else to say about him.
All right. So thanks, Ricardo. This lame duck is brought to you by the help of the queen of the Straight Talk Society, Nene. She tipped me off on this one, and I appreciate the efforts on that. Appreciate you, Nene. Ken Fletcher, man, that's amazing. I mean, a Democrat doesn't mean what the political affiliation doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, my God, this guy is looking for boys, and he's looking for them on all fronts. Like, it doesn't matter, no limits. Where the boys at? Like we trying to find young boys, and that's it. Hey, that's just crazy, man. And a lot of these guys in these higher positions and offices, we find too many of these stories. There's just a lot of them, and like Ricardo says, man,
exactly.
Yeah, they're all horny and they're all using their power to get over on people in this way. It's just crazy. This should be a no-brainer. And maybe decades ago or years, a decade. I can't say years because we've been nutty since Sarah Palin showed up. That's the original Trump maniac stuff. Sarah Palin. This all started with Sarah Palin. And since this atmosphere has been opened up, we just have not looked back, and we just have all these weird scenarios and situations. We have a friggin' convicted felon sitting in the White House or going to sit in the White House, and all this talk and blah blah blah. I know some people may feel it's refreshing. Younger made that comment about it's refreshing to, and I get that. I understand that because things can be a little fake and a little contrived and whatnot. But I'll trade that away just to get some sort of level of brain cell activity here. This guy should not have won that seat. That's just a major indictment in the town that he represents, the city that he represents. It's ridiculous. The fact that this is a reality. And on the same election time period as Donald Trump and what he did, it's like, it's just crazy. No one is winning anything on merit, hard work, and determination. The only thing we're doing is facade and the imagery and projections. And that's it.
No
So
substance.
no substance at all, sir. No substance at all. So we look at number 64, lame duck of the week, Ken Fletcher, trash bag human. So with that being said, it is almost the end of the year. And at the end of the year, we do have a lame duck spectacular, the lame duck Golden Goose Award, as MD coined it. And that'll be on the final show of the year, episode 60, probably the first week of December. Next week will be episode 59. And then we'll take a little break over for Thanksgiving and whatnot. We'll come back in the either first or second week of December to do that final show. The whole show will be dedicated to the nominees of the Super Duck. And of course, the first nominee of the Super Duck has got to be Donald J. Trump, the original Super Duck, the original lame duck. Donald Trump, I would think Elon Musk, Mark Robinson, and we'll have more to be named leading up to that show. So everyone join us on that special night. We'll be giving up the Golden Goose on the Super Duck in first or second week of December. Next week will be the final regular show, episode 59. So we'll see everybody next week for that show. So at this point, let's get into the final sign-offs for the evening. So we'll start with Ricardo. Ricardo, what is your final sign-off, sir?
Yes, sir. Great show. We got a lot of our points off, and all in all, Democrats, we are highly disappointed in you in terms of how you did this election cycle. Hopefully, y'all lick y'all wounds and move and progress forward for midterms in 2 years, and we'll see what happens. I know today Trump's lawyers is trying to stall out or delay the case regarding the final verdict for the one.
The hush money case. It's already done, bro. It's already done. It's wrapped.
Yeah, it's I don't know what the verdict is, but I'm hoping it's vindication. I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. And I had another valid point that I was going to bring up, but somehow I forgot about. All in all, I'm glad the election cycle is over. It's been going crazy and nut around, and like MD said, please y'all don't get distracted by all this nonsense that you see with text messages and all this feeble crap that we're seeing going around. It's all distraction. Let's stay focused because in the coming semester that Trump's going to be sitting on come January the 20th, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we need to be vigilant about, including my main concern. Miller is one thing, but Musk being in regulation of his own interest is a problem for me. Hopefully, Trump is not going to give Musk that much power to do so. But when you have 20 projects for the U.S. government, that's pretty much you having your hand in the pot and everything, and that's a little bit concerned. Like how is it's like the police policing themselves? That can't work. So I need us to be vigilant, be open minded in terms of what we're going to be seeing. Call out the BS when we see them happening. like we did during the pandemic, and let's not put in fear. Just stay vigilant. That's all I'm gonna say. There's no more voting remorse. You voted. You're gonna have to wait another 4 more years to vote again. So whatever is handed to you, the term you F around and find out is now going to be given. So with that being stated, let's get it. Let's keep moving. Let's progress forward. And enough of the bickering and all of that crap. Let's just stay vigilant. Let's do our due diligence, and let's see if the house is going to be flipped or not. Because now we're just sitting here like sitting ducks waiting to see what's going to be happening. More than likely, it's going to be a full-on House, Senate, Republican thing. But we're going into 2025. We're going to see if 2 people are going to step down from SCOTUS and another one potentially, and that's a whole nightmare waiting to happen. And yeah, man, Russia is doing their thing on one corner, Iran on the next, and the whole world now looks like it's turning against Israel. And now they're going to find some way to spin that narrative that they're all anti-Israel, when really we're just calling out the BS of what we've seen happening. But we'll see how that propaganda machine works out for 2025. And kudos to everyone for just doing their thing. Enough of my nigga babbling. MD to you.
Oh, before we go to MD real quick, I just want to put this graph up here. So remember the moment. This is the day after the election, November 6th. They're giving you the markers of where the economy is, because people seem to have amnesia. And we did this before. Donald Trump went into office, and he took the credit of what Obama's economy was. He never lifted a finger to do a goddamn thing. Even the tax cuts, he didn't lift his finger. The Republicans put that together. He never had an interest in governing, this Trump. Donald Trump never cared about governing. His only interest was the attention and the prestige that the office gave him, and the opportunity to use it to exploit it for money. So,
hey, Venkat, make sure you keep that graphic. We gonna need that graphic this time next year. We gonna need it.
Oh yeah,
Keep
it
it.
ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna have it.
Do not delete it. Do not delete it.
Gas is at $2.79. The stock market 43,000. Annual inflation 2.2%.
Hey, real quick, just to interject, the annual inflation actually went down on Friday another tenth of a point, so it's actually 2.1.
Look at that.
According to the Fed, because they just lowered interest rate to level out. So let me say this real quick, and then I'll shut up.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Friday, the Fed came out and lowered base interest rate again. That now usually in economic terms, interest rates go down to reflect the inflation that's going up, but there has to be a balance. We're seeing ultimately by the end of the year, it's going to be a even balance. And so meaning that's reflecting a perfect economy. Listen to me, people. A perfect economy is what's going to be reflected. The interest rates is going to be where they're supposed to be as it pertains to what the inflation is supposed to be. Trump is going to inherit all of this, and he's going to do the same thing that he did with Obama's economy. He's going to claim it. He's going to claim all of this. Go ahead, Venkat. I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect points. Perfect points. And it need to be said, because for a long time, I was the only one mentioning this stuff. And it was very frustrating for me for a long time. Obama did the heavy lifting. And then this white old man walked into that office with no respect for what was before him, and just watch TV all day, eat fast food, and play games. And when it came time, he just started saying, I did this, I did that. And then people just ran with it. And to this day, we have people of all Latinos, we have blacks, we have white people, we have everybody walking around with the notion that he did something for the economy. And even when you put up because they always want to make the excuse the pandemic happened, so we're going to exclude that 1 year, even though it happened on his watch and it was 100% his responsibility. So let's take that 1 year out. Even when you match up his first 3 years to Obama's last 3 years, Obama trumps him. There was no indication of anything showing that Trump did anything better than Obama. Obama outpaced him in every way. Matter of fact, the economy, you could say, dipped down slightly with Trump. At best, it just leveled at the same rate it was going. But then Joe Biden came in, inherited his mess, and turned it around very quickly. And now we're sitting in a point where we have this great economy. And the frustration is that the same guy that did this great economy is the same dumbass, Joe Biden, that set up this horrendous situation for this election that literally cost the election. And that's on his ass. But at the end of the day, here we go. Another Trump term where he's walking in from a Democratic economy, and he's going to take credit for that. This time, there should be no excuse. It shouldn't have been any excuse the last time. It should have been very apparent that it was Obama's economy. That should have been very apparent. But at this point in time, you cannot tell me that Donald Trump is going to do any better. So good luck with that, MAGA, and we'll see you people. But, I talk about Democrats being better at the economy, and that's a fact. That's not a made-up thing. As a matter of fact, you don't have to listen to me. You can listen to your homeboy Trump. He'll tell.
I think of myself as a young guy, but I'm not so young anymore. And I've been around for a long time. And it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Now, it shouldn't be that way. But if you go back, it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than
it certainly did well under Clinton.
Well,
but I wouldn't suggest it was so great under Jimmy Carter.
That's true. That's
if
true.
you remember
That's
the interest
true.
rates.
No, I know. It's Jimmy Carter was not in the same thing, but certainly we had some very good economies under Democrats as well as Republicans. But we've had some pretty bad disaster under the Republicans.
All right. There we go. That's the show tonight, folks.
Damn, I need to get my
else?
yeah, real quick. Let me say it's so much more that we could have talked about tonight. I'll say to Ricardo's point, I disagree in terms of the infighting or whatever. This needs to happen. There needs to be a purge of whatever foundation comes out. I'm not picking a side. I'm not going to do that. But there needs to be a purge of whichever opposition side of the Democratic Party, whether it be the progressives or whether it be the moderates. The Democrats have to fortify their position on what they want to be as a political identity. They've got to do it. And the time to do it is right now. Can't waste no time. Because that's what failed you this current cycle. That's just a whole fact. And there is doom, because folks, hey, we going to hell in a handbasket. Point blank, period. We didn't talk about the appointments that Trump has made over the course of this week.
Fact.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the most impactful cabinet that we may see in our lifetime.
Yep.
For the worse. He just appointed a guy to the EPA who literally wants to denaturalize or let's just say get rid of national parks so they can drill oil. Get rid of them.
Mm.
He just appointed a guy in Tom Homan that literally said, hey, what you gonna do about separated families? Well, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Deport all their asses. I don't care if you're a legal citizen or not. You want to bitch and complain about your son or your daughter or your husband or your wife getting deported? Take your ass with them. That's literally what he said. They just appointed a person named Stephen Miller,
Yep, Miller should terrify,
Deputy Chief of Staff Policy Director.
everybody.
Project 2025 is about to go down, folks.
They were warned.
Hand baskets. Get your hand baskets here.
They were warned.
That's what it is. That we trying to tell you.
Yep.
So hey, get ready. Cause it's about to go down. You thought 2020 was a hellscape year with all the riots and marches and political division, but you ain't seen nothing yet. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. But hey, that was the will of the American people.
Yes, they spoke. This is what they get. And by the way, going forward, can we just put anybody who is a convicted felon that they could put that on the employment checklist? They should take that off, because if you're gonna vote for a president who is already a convicted criminal, it should be no issue that would be an issue for somebody trying to get employment in this country. And now I'll leave it at
That don't count. That don't count. You ain't Trump. Hell. That Mitch McConnell, even though he's gonna do the rest of his term, he's not gonna be Senate leader. They talking about Rick Scott.
Oh hell,
I know.
Being
Rick
Senate
Scott
Majority
of all
Leader.
people. Rick Scott of all people.
and Rick Scott is gonna get it. You know why? Because he has money. That snake oil alien looking bastard is always getting his way. Whether it be anything, he's gonna get it. He's the one that's
Rick Scott should be doing hard time right now in prison.
That
you want to know what
Medicare?
You want to know what a political cuck looks like? Look no further than Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. How can a person like Marco Rubio become Secretary of State? Only in America, folks.
Kissing ass. That's why. God.
So this is what we're dealing with. Hey, this is the reality.
These spineless people. Spineless, I tell you. All of them. Spineless.
So like I said, get your hand baskets ready. It's about to be a hell of a ride. And with that, I say peace and black power.
Peace.
Oh, all right. Thank you, MD. So that's the show, folks. We don't know what we're getting, but we kind of know what we're going to be getting in these Trump years that we're headed for. So hold your ass. Get those hand baskets, like MD said, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. And some of these people that voted for what they voted for, they actually going to get it. They think it's fun and games, and they think it's okay because it happened to somebody else. But the problem doesn't become a problem because it only affects others. It only affects you. So we'll see what happens. All right, so like to say peace to Mr. Straight Talk, everyone in the Straight Talk Society, Bones, Tequila, Zay. We had Yanga on the panel, and Maria G. Shout out to Maria G. Maria G. said Yanga needs to be on the panel every week. I agree. It would be great to have Yanga on the panel more often.
You need to set that debate up. And you need to set that debate up, because that's what it sounded like to me, because he took a lot of pot shots at me for some odd reason.
Man, MD is on fire.
I done got that 2 days straight. 2 days straight, people done took shots at me.
I know.
First it was Wayne, and now it's Young.
I know. MD is on fire right now. He got Wayne. Oh, man, that Wayne thing was great, man. Oh, Wayne. Oh, that was great. That was great. Just great stuff. If we could get a debate, that'd be awesome, man. But everyone tune in. We got next week, episode 59. And then the end of the year, we got the Super Duck for the world's most dangerous political panel. We got Ricardo, we got Murr, we got Black MD20. And for everybody else associated with the Straight Talk Society, have a great evening, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's. That's terrible. Terrible.